Heroic still the favorites going into this game 1. See what Edge can do to prove us all wrong. I still think they've got what it takes with this draft, but I do have my question marks, you know. I don't know how I feel about this support Tiny. You could make the argument maybe it's a bit greedy, and you know I've never been the biggest fan of Position 1 Muerta myself, Jonathan. But I still have faith Edge can make it work.
Yeah, no, I think Position 1 Muerta, I don't think it's bad, it's just really awkward with timing. Right, and we always talk about this when this hero is a little bit more popular on 1. Right, it's very weird. Its laning is so-so. Its damage output at level 1 Pierce the Veil is like meh, and then you get like Maelstrom Dragonlance, then you get your full Mjolnir, almost like a Nature's Prophet build, and then suddenly you're ripping people apart, and then it tapers off a little bit. Then you go into the late game scenario where you can maybe get Revenant's Brooch in this case. A Daedalus is fine as well with like a Silver Edge, and suddenly you're just murdering people again. It has some weird spikes. That is the one thing that's holding me back from like considering the Edge draft stronger, because Morphling's much easier to understand. Morphling's much more straightforward to play, and Morphling scales very linear. It's just it gets good and it just stays good once it is good.
Schofield, he's going to be okay. Just drop the cogs. Going to be what appears to be a 2-for-2 trade on the bounty, so even start. And nobody really going to take too much damage. The Whisper's still sticking around. Schofield not going to be able to get any kind of block off on these creep waves. And well, naturally, John, we can start with the mid lane, where you are going to see Pippi. He'll be up against Analog on this mid matchup. The Storm, one of the heroes that does tend to do pretty okay against the Monkey King matchup.
It should be able to do well. I do feel like Monkey King's still actually pretty fine in this. Like, Analog has Mischief to at least dodge a couple of static remnants. Try to dodge an overload down the line as well. Brown Boots timing is key here for Analog. Once you see that up, that's where it gets dicey for PP. If he doesn't go for the Electric Vortex to cut off that aggression, you can just get run down very quick, as we tend to see from Monkey once the Brown Boots timing is up. So I think that's what you have to watch out for here on PP. At least Analog is not going to get free strikes into the Jingu, just the nature of having a ranged matchup overall. He's going to have to use the Boundless to secure creeps, and that is a longer cooldown than you'd want to play with. So much more window of opportunities there for PP to leverage that lane. A little bit of a chase down on bot as Michael's going for the deep pull. That is one thing with the Jakiro. Very easy to snipe the couriers.
So nice. It's so nice when you get to hit a courier's Jakiro right now. We are going to have a quick disconnect here from Analog. We have a Monkey King bug. There he is. You may not like it, but that's what peak performance looks like right now, ladies and gentlemen. Look at that poor donkey, Johnny. He never stood a chance.
Yeah, just
okay,
murdered.
episode of Shrek.
That.
My goodness.
I don't think that's how the story in Shrek went, though. I don't think that's what happened with the donkey and the dragon.
Yeah, it's alternate reality, Jonathan. It's like, you know, do what Avengers do. You know, it's fine.
Shrek multiverse?
Well, why are they doing the throat singing thing? Get that crap out of here.
Why not?
Devi's not even there, John. He's not even
memory
there.
Of the llama. In memory of the Devi llama. Michael Phoenix. Respect the voice line.
Top. Pike. He's going to be alright. Schofield's still trying to catch him, but doesn't have battery assault yet. He's still level 1. Just the cogs up. Whisper's already backed off as well because he's got a full creep wave on him. So Schofield's going to be a little bit cautious because they are trying to wrap around and see if they can get an angle on him. Pike's going to drop the calling. Gets enough mana now for the dead shot, but Schofield still being a real nuisance. Ooh. They do land the dead shot though. Schofield trying to get away, but Yadomi able to get the damage off. First blood to the Order Titan.
A nice little pickup there for Edge, and you're seeing some of the impact of that little Ofrenda. Just a little bit more extra trading for Pike, a little bit more damage can fly through. Not too much you can really get done there for Whisper. As the Bat Rider in this lane, I mean, it's a decent combination. The Clockwork, but trying to gap close onto a very tanky ET and a very far back Muerta just doesn't lead to too many aggressive openings. So you're going to have to play it a little bit slower on the top lane. The bot lane, again, we were seeing a little bit of a struggle early on for Michael to get the pull. He does manage to keep the lane in control, even getting the camp pull as well to ensure vitality will get the lane equilibrium he wants. So far, it's been a smooth lane for Yuma overall. In comparison, though, trying to zone out the Morphling in this game is going to be a little bit tricky. Like, you do have good damage once you do have levels up. Let's say level 2 quilts are available. You can maybe punish an overextension out. And Morphling is short-ranged enough that you should be within quill range every single time as he's last hitting. But KJ is just making that a hellish proposition right now. Vitaly? Yeah.
Oh, Vitaly. Going down, a big pick off for Heroic, taking the off lane of Edge down. And I mean, it is Jakira. Like, you can't underestimate this support right now. It's just so much damage output. So much slow and control. But it's alright, he'll be back in the lane. Looks like KJ might get picked off for their trouble. They've got Avalanche available. He'll still try to fight back with a quick dual breath onto Michael, but ultimately will not be enough, and of course he will die. Vitaly getting a bit of revenge as soon as he TPs back in.
It almost feels like he wanted a little bit of a reset anyhow. You know, fully topped up in mana. Is almost down to half, so maybe not the comfiest feeling here for the Bristle, but does get things going. The issue is you're still not putting a stop to Yuma. Despite that little kill, Yuma's still going to be leading in terms of EXP and farm overall. Has the backup of a full magic wand, and that does lead to the rotation into the 4-minute rune here to at least help secure and prevent that from going out for PP.
Michael does at least manage to take the water rune. There is going to be a bit of a fight to break out, but Analog more than happy to take his life away. He won't mind losing the water rune for that. And in fact, Schofield secured the other one anyway. So it looks like Pippi's not getting anything for this. Losing a tiny for nothing. You know, these mid laners, they're never happy when you rotate and you end up dying, John. They always get upset.
Yeah, but look, you're at the point where Analog does have those round boots up. PP's already having a rough time in lane. Very good advantage for Analog already. 20-10 compared to the 17-4 of PP. Gonna be a faster 6. There's gonna be a window where PP's just not gonna be at 6. You can get that rotation going again and look for the kill onto the Storm. So, not the best of times for Edge on the mid, but again, to be expected once Monkey King does hit that point. Analog knows how to play this matchup. Yarumi is going to be able to TP out as well from the chase down, wasting a lot of time. They will get the gate movement across at the least. Pyke is isolated. They could somehow find him.
I mean, if the dual breath connects, you could probably just dive into tier 1s, and they are going to try now. Flame break to set up. Pyke now realizing he is completely surrounded as 3 heroes, but he still finds the kill before he does drop. So you have that brighter side to it. At least you get something before you go down.
What they do, huh? Are they going to camp the Ofrenda? And the pings were out. KJ looks like he'd want to try again. Without the clockwork, without Schofield, might be a little bit tougher. But it is the one funky thing as well. It is a free TP, so Pyke is not punished, just gets back into the lane. That's a cheeky thing for Carry Muerta. You don't need to waste your TP. Ofrenda.
It is nice.
Can be nice.
It is very nice. I mean, in fairness, you generally don't want to die as the position one either, John, but, you know, I guess sometimes you don't have much of a choice. 6-minute power runes. Shield rune picked up by KJ. Meanwhile, Pippi trying to fight against Analog. Analog copying a fair bit of damage from that tier 1 tower, but has the Jingu Mastery at level 3, just healing up all the way. Michael is now the one in danger as Michael does drop. The Pippi does get out, but it's not going to be a great feeling for him. Seeing Michael die a second time, and all this added golden XP just continues flowing into Analog.
At the least here for PP, he does have his level 6. So the EXP disparity isn't quite there. He is at least matching, or somewhat matching, the gains on Analog, just slightly behind in terms of EXP. So he's going to be able to dodge out if need be. A little bit of a rotation being set up now with a quick smoke. Might be able to get this good angle onto Yadomi. Not the biggest one to kill, but could open up an opportunity onto the Bristleback as well.
Whisper, he's actually going to get away top lane. In fact, he's turning back around onto Michael.
Ooh.
So he's going to maybe find a kill here, and he does. Meanwhile, bottom lane, they still haven't really broken out into a fight. But Heroic, they're sticking around. In fact, Yadomi, we will be able to walk away this time around, but there's going to be pressure being applied now to that bottom tier 1 tower. You've got Vitaly around, but there's not really much he can do on his own, especially while this Monkey King is hanging about. And as soon as he sees Analog, he will just walk away. Gets a courier at least, denying the brown boots from KJ. And ultimately, the tier 1 tower, it's still going to remain alive. It's not the biggest deal, just a bit of damage being dealt.
And it is.
But they keep going.
I mean, I like this read and pressure, right? You take this bot, tier 1, they already set up the ward to see if anyone's going to come in to defend, and then you can start to check the triangle. Again, setting up the wards early, try to steal these stacks away, prevent the recovery farm for Vitaly. Just kind of ruining the game to Bristleback at that point, because, again, his laning start has not been the best. Still a lot of emphasis onto that mid.
Everyone's going to be just fine, though. Pippi losing a lot of mana, but doesn't really risk losing his life. Just you look at the farm of Yuma, it's really starting to escalate on this Morphling. Already top of the net worth board, but it's starting to pull away a little bit too fast. And you see all 3 cores on Heroic now. Top of the net worth. No concerns here after this laning stage. You said it earlier, like these Morphlings, they just never stop scaling. In fact, Yuma barely misses out on taking those creeps, those stacks away from Pippi. Does get a bit of XP for himself, I guess. Meanwhile, mid lane, jump in. They're going to find Schofield. Schofield's going to try and make this as hard as possible, but Pippi will still pick him off easily.
And you're happy about that for PP, a free stack of the Galvanize. You get to get some activity out with your Arcane Rune. You can kind of look to reset and go again. Farm distribution across all cores relatively even outside of, again, Vitaly, who's been suffering. But you have your own stacks here in the triangle that Whisper's starting to clear out now. It travels not too far off for our off-lane Batrider. So the timings are starting to line up. 2k advantage being maintained by Heroic, mainly down to that lead of Yuma and that disparity from Vitaly. But it is repairable. It's still early in the game. Still, you have a little bit more play coming out for Heroic off the back of that. Analog starting to work into that full Mage Slayer. Still a ways off from getting the full build-up, but the spikes are starting to line up. The Vlad's already up on Yuma, which means he can self-sustain in that jungle, where he is just kind of sitting about, playing bot, going back into jungle. No one contesting him. Same thing goes at least for the Muerta, although it's going to be spotted, but no damage here.
Mid lane taking a fair bit. Meanwhile, Whisper, he's found a lasso onto Michael. Schofield going to turn back around as well, and they do secure the kill. Pippi still walking away with very low HP, but he does get away. And another kill going the way of Heroic. They are really starting to escalate out of control, these guys. It seems like the pressure's going to continue into this mid-tier 1 tower. They've got a siege creep up. They've got a Jakiro that can just throw those liquid fires out. And it seems like Edge probably going to have to find a way to defend, but never mind. Heroic's not even going to commit. They're just going to go up top. Looks like they want to try and see if they can pick off Pyke instead. Oh, they've got the vision, but Whisper has no lasso.
Yeah. Nice and safe play. Just back out. You need to keep track of this Muerta as the full Maelstrom starting to come in. So the farming pace for Pyke is starting to come online. Again, he has a lot of work to do to kind of get into the point where Yuma's at right now, but again, we're still early in the game. This lead is something you can catch up from. It's still 11 minutes in. Losing the objectives, though, is not something you can repair. Top is being sieged, but mid is being sieged as well by Edge. So this is a much better trade-off for Edge if they can find it. Defense is slowly coming in, though.
It is certainly coming in. Yodomi going to be left behind. See if they can maybe look for Pippi or Michael as well. There's no real hook shot available yet on Schofield. He's still level 5 on the clockwork, so they can't really go for much more. But they do successfully defend that mid-tier 1 tower. Problem is that the push for the opposing mid-tier 1 not really starting, as it seems like Heroic really just want kills right now. There is going to be a smoke from Edge, though. 2-man smoke. Whisper will break. In fact, he has the lasso ready. Pippi and Michael still moving forward. Yodomi's going to TP in as well. Still a lot of hesitation from both sides to actually initiate. And it seems like they're going to let this one go. Maybe look towards Yodomi in the mid lane, but it seems like he's pretty safe. And I guess until this clock hits level 6, like, you don't really have some great initiation. Right? You probably just want to give him a lane to hit that 6 mark so he actually has hook shot up.
Just kind of need to sit back, soak up. They're clearing out these stacks themselves in supports. for Heroic. So Schofield and KJ just gonna get some gold and EXP this way, I suppose. One way to get it done. It's a little bit surprising as well. Whisper is changing his build. He is just going for the Blink Dagger instead of the Travels first. So understanding some initiation is necessary. At least we'll get that done for his team. My concern is with how much space you're still giving Yuma. Again, you are catching up slowly on Pyke, although he doesn't have that full Maelstrom yet. But you will catch up at some point. It's just, this start for Yuma is, again, reminiscent of what we saw from Ame last game. He's got that same timing of Vlad's Blade of Alacrity into the Yasha Manta. There's no contest on bot, no pressure onto the tower. You're just playing safe on Vitaly as well, playing in that jungle, trying to farm up with that full Vanguard up. But this is concerning. Like if Yuma actually hits that Manta timing as the full Halberd comes in from Vitaly, then he's just going to have a way of dispelling Disarm. You know, they did patch that in Wandering Waters. Disarm isn't a be-all and all anti-carry sort of status now. You know, there is counterplay now.
There is. Well, it does have the halberd up at least. There is going to be a 3-man smoke now from Heroic. They're looking to head towards the Bristleback. Scan is right on target as well, Vitaly. They will know he's farming that far east side of the map. But Vitaly does have some backup incoming though. It seems like they've read this smoke attempt very nicely here, Edge. Michael will be around. Vitaly is scouted out. They're going to try and make the jump in perhaps. Instead, they're going to go for the Tiny first. Yuma looking to blow up Michael, but Michael still walks away. The hook shot though, Schofield setting up. Pyke forced to pop the pierce to Bell to survive, but the macro play just burning him down. Pyke is gone. That's your Pos 1 Muerta. Just getting destroyed by a support Jakiro.
Again, really good split-up initiation. They take that fight in two fronts. Not quite enough damage to deal with Vitaly, even with Wukong's committed. But you find a bigger pickup anyhow. Like, you're slowing down his Muerta. Again, this hero has such awkward timing in terms of power spikes. Any stall can make it pretty tough. Good steal as well from Whisper.
Whisper now going to go for a chase with the Firefly, but you know, sees the rotation from Michael, and that'll be enough for him. So, I mean, another great fight here for Heroic now. 4K advantage their way. Yuma's just pulling so far ahead, man. He's about 3K ahead of the Muerta already. It's just such a big concern. And you saw that last fight for Pyke. Like, he wants to stand there and fight. He got caught in a macro pyre and his HP just disappears.
Yeah. He's so squishy. Such a big glass cannon this Muerta is. And it doesn't have a lot of saving plays outside of popping her ultimate. And once you pop it again, you're just going to get melted down anyhow by magic damage. It's a hero that just needs a lot of items to really get going. Like, even after this Dragonlance into a Hurricane Pike, with maybe, again, a Mjolnir, you kind of want the BKB, yet you also kind of don't. But it's going to be necessary here just to avoid that burst damage. And you still have to respect that, even with a BKB, if Whisper finds you, he'll take you happily. And then, again, you don't have saves on the side of Edge outside of a big stomp out from Yadumi. Probably your best counterfight on the side of Edge. Not as many options as you'd want here up against what Heroic has. Heroic, for their part, again, you've left Yuma AFK farming. Your offlane presence from Vitaly hasn't really been felt outside of the fact that he's not dying. So it's a free game for Morph. We saw what happened when Yuma turned into Michael. It's dumb, the fact that Morphling uses his own stats now in that Morph form. His right-click damage is already insane. Like, you really have to be cautious. You have to find some way of burning down this Morphling. And again, it came from this ET idea with the deconstruction. And Yadumi has to find a way to be on top of him while they're trying to gank up the Morph, but they're not the ones dictating this game on Edge. It's Heroic all the way. They're the ones taking the aggression. They're the ones working the map. They're the ones crossing the river. Not much play showing yet from Edge, as they have to wait for that farm to really build up. Although,
jump in. What they got here? Pippi trying to get Whisper. Whisper actually proving to be a little bit tanky, though. Schofield will jump in as well. This could be a freebie on the clock, but he's still alive. In comes Yuma. Big avalanche out from Yuma. And a lasso from Whisper, locking down Pippi. Michael's gone a boot. Whisper will chase for a little bit more. Won't quite catch your Dommy. But I mean, you get 2 for a clockwork. The mid-storm going down. Not a great feeling at all here for the side of Edge. And now a Tormentor, I believe, is set to be taken. If not just just more farm from Heroic, but I do believe it's probably Tormented time.
Ought to be. No pressure here on Heroic to really play any faster. As again, their scaling with this morph is very straightforward. We'll find out Torm for themselves, no problem. Free shard for KJ. So now he has that double utility of having both Liquid Fire and Liquid Frost, which is massive for the Chikiro at any point, support or off lane. I like this build-up as well from KJ. Just going straight for the Ags. He understanding that just having this AoE control, having more of that pure damage coming in, will ruin the side of Edge. They find themselves an amp damage room, though.
They certainly do. Scofield's gonna move
They don't
in.
find it.
Oh no, they don't. Analog picks it up. Analog will pick up the amp damage, but he's in pretty big trouble here on the MK, and he actually just goes down. Oh, the classic power rune bait. What can you do? Edge, they end up getting a couple of really nice kills, and that was actually a pretty nice gold influx for the Dire.
I'm a bit surprised that Heroic didn't follow the Monkey King into the power room. Like, they get cut off in the side, sure. Schofield has to kind of dance around them, but they were all clumped up together and they just suddenly split apart as the power rune play comes in. If they had the backup on the Monkey King, if they could stall for time, let's say get a lasso off from Whisper, the turnaround play was massive, potentially quite massive there for Analog. Still a big opportunity for Edge. Does give a little bit of play out to PP. Some recovery coming in, and finally a siege on that bot tier 1. Opening up the map a little more. They get themselves some nice forward vision to spot if anyone's farming in the forward bot jungle, but Roshan's open, and even after losing the monkey, you still have Yuma with a lot of damage. Heck, he has that full Eagle Song up. Butterfly not too far away with that second life up.
Absolutely. Yuma. It's kind of the thing, like that last fight, you didn't have this Morphling behind you just hitting away. Had you had the Morph, it could be a whole different story. But now Analog is farming that bottom side. Looks like Edge leaving the Radiant jungle now. Maybe a group up into a smoke here for Edge. They'll hang around together in the mid lane, hoping maybe somebody shows up. Yuma will eventually move in. Issue is, against the Morph, you don't really have the greatest of lockdown, as Vitali gonna have the Arcane Rune taken for himself. A very nice choke point for the macro, and now Whisper with the lasso catching Michael. That should be the Tiny dead. Meanwhile, Yuma trying to find some more toss-back targets, but can't quite get there. So they will walk away with just the Michael kill, but oh, nice hook shot. Schofield's in. Rolovatos to lock Pippi down, and Pippi is gone. Beautiful setup here from Schofield. They will at least take him down. In fact, Whisper and KJ both dying as well. The turnaround with Pyke is massive. Analog cannot TP away. Can they get Yuma? No, they cannot. So Pyke now becoming a pretty big issue himself.
He shows up at the right time after all of the commitments out from the side of Heroic. Like, they end up popping all of their big control early on, so there's no Ice Bat Macro Power to worry about burning in, as the Muerta, your target prioritization on Yuma was onto PP, so you didn't have the Avalanche Toss or even the Waveform on top of the Muerta, and that just provides the angle in. It's kind of the best case scenario for Edge at this moment, at least, until that BKB's up for Pyke. But if the Muerta can free hit, she does do a ton of damage. Again, you've got the Offended to give you a little bit more attack speed, although that wasn't even in play. And just the damage, again, those strange power spikes are there already. As they overcommit. They dive a little bit too deep. I think if Schofield didn't go for the hook shot, you would have been happy with just a single pick-off.
I mean, absolutely. Like, you're sure you get Pippi, but I think they were just kind of not expecting Pyke to move in and just deal that much damage. But he certainly did. There will be a scan out now on Pippi top side, but they haven't really got Whisper around to really lock him down. Rest of Heroic looking down at that bottom lane where they could run into Pyke, but he does TP at the right moment. Will avoid KJ spotting him out. Michael will leave as well. Thankfully for Michael, he's finally getting close to that Blink Dagger on the Tiny. See, it has been a pretty challenging game for him, but you're getting to the stage where you're going to have some utility to get these tossbacks in. It's going to be nice.
Yeah. And it will be. It is concerning that Yuma's already at the Butterfly, though. Going into the BKB next, not going to be too concerned about any of the control that is coming in from Edge. Even the magical damage, right, from Pyke, it's not going to feel that great when he does turn into the Pierce the Veil. If the BKB pops on, that magic res is going to nullify all of that output. So that is something to think about here on Edge. Still a relatively even game, 13-12. There have been moments for Edge to kind of bounce back in and equalize. The 4K lead for Heroic at 22 minutes in. Still significant, but not unplayable just yet. A smoke out from the side of Heroic on the hunt. Let's see if they find anything. No forward vision, unfortunately, in the triangle, where they've really cemented control on Edge. Lots of wards, lots of sentries to ensure that the side of Heroic can't get that move into their stack area any longer.
Here we go. A four-man smoke from Heroic. They don't find anyone in that dire jungle. They're looking at mid, though. Analog. Hoping to set up onto Pippi. You do want Whisper around with the lasso to ensure you've got enough control for Pippi, though. Schofield being a nuisance, actually baiting him forward. Pippi will take the jump in, trying to hook shot. In fact, Schofield does find Vitali. Will try to walk the other way. Here comes Whisper to help out. Pippi being very cautious now that he's low on mana. They're still trying just for Schofield, and they do get it, but now the lasso does catch out the Bristleback. Into the Wukong's command, Vitali goes. Vitali just trying to walk away, but he is going to have to give his life up. A lot of effort to take down this clockwork, and it comes at the cost of your offlane Bristle.
Yeah, it's a big win this time coming out for Heroic. Mind you, you can see how long it takes if they do focus in on Vitali. Edge just not in the position to fully reset and go back into that fight, but that's also a circumstance where if you had more heroes around, if you didn't get initially jumped by Schofield and cut off on mana for PP, you might have had some play. Because, again, the effort it takes to kill off that Bristle at the moment is quite high. You just weren't in a good spot for Pyke and PP to try to make use of it. There's one thing as well that's been bugging me. I just realized you did go Snot Rocket and Vitali. You don't have the best synergy with your Muerta, right? Because if you do turn on the Pierce the Veil, all of that minus armor really does nothing. Because all of your attack damage is magical. So that's a little bit of counter synergy that can kind of matter as the game goes on. That is something to, again, consider here for Edge, considering we're at 25 minutes in. They've got to be able to look for a little bit more, especially with this big spike on Pyke, having that full Mjolnir up. This time around, they have to start playing more confidently on Edge. They have to take that initiation with a blink up here.
Going to be another attempt on the clockwork, and with Pyke around, of course, they will have plenty of damage this time. Sure, Schofield dies quickly. Not the biggest kill, not really any objectives here to play for, though, for Edge, so back on the hunt. Roshan's still going to be a while away before we see that respawning. You'd love to find Yuma if you could, because he's getting quite close now to a BKB on that Morphling. But Yuma being very good this game and just ensuring he never gets caught with his pants down. Whisper, Vitali gets lassoed up into the Ice Path Macro Pyre, though you do have Michael trying to help Vitali out, but he's just going nowhere at the moment. Vitali eventually will just die. They just kept him in that macro forever. And that'll be it again. Edge just forced to back away. They've got no gameplay without their offlane.
And again, they're just too far to try to make use of that space. It just takes so much effort. They had to pop Lasso. They had to pop the Macro Pyre. It feels like that's, again, the kind of moment where you'd want PP and Pyke to find an angle in, but it's just a little bit too far. And they're not ready. Probably need to wait for Pyke to at least have BKB for that aggression to kick in, but that's just more time where Heroic get comfier and comfier with this game. And it's mainly down to just how far Yuma is. You know, the rest of the cores are fairly equally farmed if you look at the distribution. But Yuma's the one here that you need big anyhow. Right? Like, this BKB is going to be terrifying from him once he does pop it on, and he's got it up and running. He's on the hunt.
That he is. Pacing, Whisper. Does find Michael. Lasso was on cooldown for 1. He won't even need it, though. A very nice ice path from KJ. Seems like that's going to be about it. Michael getting caught. Heroic. They've already taken the top tier 2 tower, so again, not really much to play for until Roshan does spawn. Must be a very scary game for Pyke on this Muerta. Like, we're just seeing, unless he sees the perfect team fight, he's not joining. And it is one of those deals where once you are caught in this Muerta, you are just kind of like paper. It's not very fun if you do get caught first off. So you're just constantly seeing Pyke very late to the fights. He doesn't want to be there up front first. He will have a BKB up soon though, which should help his cause a little bit. Doesn't really help much against the lasso into the right click of Yuma though, in fairness.
No, it doesn't. The key thing is, with the BKB, or I guess not, as they are just gonna try to contest a very fast Tormentor, a little bit too quick for them to come into. But once this BKB comes in, or how the fight has to break out, you're banking here for Edge that Vitaly takes everything. He's gonna take Macropyre, he's gonna take Lasso, and then you can actually angle in on Pyke and PP, and even Michael, to try to look for some exposed heroes. They're still running forward with the smoke here.
I mean, they're going to find KJ. Not a big deal. KJ just kind of... just getting caught out. Doesn't really bother him too much, I'm sure. Well, you really are looking for much bigger kills than that if you are Edge now, because you are 10k behind. Roshan is also up. So you are kind of stuck really having to defend that if you are Edge, because... yeah, if Heroic take it, the lead just continues to increase, and then they're looking just directly at high ground. And Heroic certainly are looking to start posturing around that Roshan pit. And Edge, they don't have the worst team fight in the Roshan pit, mind you, John. You do have an Elder Titan of all things. The team fight can be pretty scary from Edge's end if we are fighting in the pit. I guess you could argue the same for Heroic, though, because you do have a Jakiro Monkey King. Oh, even the Clockwork, pretty big nuisance in that Roshan pit. So they are hunting top. Analog's keeping tabs here as a tree. They did see Vitaly for a second. It looks like they're not going to try and initiate though. Not yet anyway. They are bringing more bodies in, but it seems like they'll start Roshan instead. Maybe. In fact, never mind, they will not. It looks like they'll retreat. There is a smoking coming.
It's BKB time for
underneath
Pyke.
vision, though.
This is the fight they want.
They're underneath vision. Heroic. They're being watched as we speak. Vitaly, he's going to move in onto KJ. Zip forward from Pippi, trying to burst down the Batrider. Whisper, he will drop. A good start here for Edge. Pippi moving on to more, finding KJ. They do lose Yadomi, but it's still a very good fight for the side of Edge, at least for now, as Analog is the next target, though Analog can do nothing against Pyke. A triple kill here for the Muerta. It's Michael even finding Yuma now, but can they deal with the Morphling? Yuma, he'll just move right in, and he's found Pyke. He's found Pippi. It's kind of the thing, like he had a BKB ready the whole time. Vitaly trying for the TP play is gonna make it. But they will also lose Michael on the tail end of that fight. And now Roshan, of course, is completely open if Heroic do want to take.
That was the perfect start for Edge as well. Right, again, Vitaly cops the start. They actually managed to catch out Whisper before the lasso, so they don't even have to worry about that. But the follow-through just wasn't clean. Like, how do you control up Yuma? He was very patient in the side, very patient with that BKB usage as well. It was Analog who kind of ran in and popped BKB instantly and kind of paid, but he bought that spacing out for Yuma. We'll get Roche off the back of this. 2 buybacks committed from Heroic, but very much worthwhile to stop that momentum coming out for Edge. Although,
Vitaly's moving in. Oh, Vitaly literally just tried walking into the pit by himself. KJ's going to drop because Pippi does rotate to ensure they get something. Now moving on to Whisper with his BKB active, but Whisper's going to just pop the lasso and hold him down. Michael trying to help out with a big avalanche toss combination, but they're running out of gas. They need to leave the area. Edge now, they are losing Michael to boot. And a Hawk, oh, he's found another one. Schofield, unable to keep Yadomi in place.
Yeah.
A desperate initiation, to say the least, John. He literally just walked into the pit.
I mean, I appreciate it, right? Like, it's better than risking your storm first. I think that's the thought process there from Vitaly. You got to try, because you're behind, right? Like, you can't deal with 2 lives on Yuma. They know that. Dealing with this Morphling is just getting impossible. There's no output to speak of. Pike is trying to go into the MKB to pierce through the evasion, but we're a ways off from that. So there's going to be a big window here for Heroic off the back of that Aegis, off the back of that Roche, where the high ground's going to be threatened now. Again, Yuma is just doing an insane amount of damage. And all the utilities coming out on the side of Heroic. You're going to get the Nullifier going next here on Analog. Again, he's got his BKB still at 8 seconds as well. Whisper, for his part, has the full Boots of Bearing up and is going for the full BKB next. And again, all of this protection up against the magical damage you're reliant on Edge, it's going to make it hellish to take these fights. Like, we have seen some good moments, but it boils down to the fact that for Edge, their team fight is so reliant on just a good stomp or avalanche toss into like an Earth Splitter. And the Earth Splitter alone is just not doing enough work. Even if Vitality spreads the goo, like, yeah, the minus armor is nice in the supports, but if you were going to kill the supports, they were probably going to die anyway. It's not doing enough to these cores.
Oh, here we go. Amp damage on Yuma. He's got a little bit of time left on that hook shot. It is going to land onto the bristle. It's just so much right-click damage. Yuma, he gets Vortex here by Pippi, but Vitali is still just going to die. There's a one right-click from Yuma with that amp damage. I swear it was like half the HP of the bristleback disappearing. It's just ridiculous.
It is. You gotta love Morphling right now. And the issue for Edge is the same issue we've been talking about. Not just team fight, but that also boils down to how do you control Morphling? How do you try to get natural order on him? How do you try to drop his armor, drop his magic res to soften him up for, say, Pike? And the answer is you really can't. You can't even stand on top. You can't keep your spirit out long enough to get that damage going either. 12k advantage now for Heroic, 23-19. And Edge, they're being pushed to the edge at this point. It's not fully doom and gloom yet, but we just haven't seen them take a good fight. Even fights where they find some good kills. Yuma's your big issue.
Yuma's rushing for more too. He just wants to continue. Pike going to be spotted with that rocket flare. They know he's around. Problem is Yuma can't really hope to get there himself, but he is trying. Schofield not close enough to try for a hook shot. Edge playing very, very cautiously now, knowing that things are getting a little bit dire on their side of things. Like, all your net worth is stuck on Pike, and once Pierce the Veil and BKB is gone, he's just a sitting duck. There's nothing he can do once those two things are done. He's got that 8-second opening basically with Pierce the Veil and BKB to make something happen for his team in the middle of a fight. But if he gets kited out, it's just, you've just got to retreat.
Yeah. And it's also a matter of if the cores pop their BKBs, like even a 6-second charge, like that's only 2 seconds where you can really do full damage.
Michael jumps in, tossback is there onto Yuma. Maybe they can deal with him the first time around, but he is strength morphing Yuma. He will die once. A good start here for Edge. See if they can get him a second time. Yuma, he'll pop his BKB, looking for a waveform out, and does get it. The chase should continue here from Edge. They know the BKB is now no longer available for Yuma, but it seems like they won't risk it. They're just happy with the fact that they've defended.
And he stalled for time. Yuma was trying to drop down to Roche Banner. He was swapping his items in and out. He put his BKB in the backpack for that. Unfortunately, not able to really go for the push. Really good jump out from Michael. That is one thing that you can always count on. The repositional plays is something to respect. And that, again, gives a lifeline out for Edge. They'll try for a smoke off the back of it. They've got their own BKB still up. They've got Pierce the Veil ready to go. They just need to find a good target. The side of Heroic, though, they are staying fairly spread out. So chances are, if you find a core, it's going to be big. You just don't have the same vision game as Heroic does. Like, they probably sense something's wrong. They've got good wards watching all the areas. They've got rocket flare. They know a smoke's coming through because no one's showing up in the lanes or on their wards.
They're waiting. Edge not able to find a thing. Well, Pike kind of got left behind a little bit. There's an immediate smoke after they saw him too. The Pike now being 4-star forward gets back to his team, gets back into the triangle. But Heroic, they know where they're headed. They're going to try and cut them off through the bot lane. Vitaly, is he going to show on the creep wave? He will not. Somebody... They're waiting for just somebody to show up. Pyke's still around on that eastern side. He's just farming the jungle right now. It'd be a disaster if they caught him. But he does make the retreat at a very good time, though. Vitaly now, he was scouted by that rocket flip of Whisper. He's going to go for the Elder Titan instead. They will blow up your Tommy. Here comes Pyke now trying to fight, but can do nothing. They do just leave. I wonder if they try for high ground. At least maybe try to force a buyback, but it seems like the answer is just going to be an outright no. Hippie? Good try for KJ. Scopefield does remain behind, forcing the BKB out from Pippi. Maybe they go for a fight now, knowing he doesn't have that debuff duration. Michael, being chased by Yuma. Rocket Flare will land. They've got the dust as well, so Michael is dead. Once again, that seems to be enough for Heroic.
Yeah, I don't think you're in a rush if you're Heroic. You want to play it safe. You know there's openings here for Edge. You might as well just wait out Roche respawn. We'll see in about a minute how long that'll be, or at least get the timer going. For the side of Edge, it's just a tough game to try to initiate on. And that was a good target to go for, taking care of the one team fight tool you have with a Stomp and Earth Splitter. Just means you don't need to worry about the big clump up that Edge might try to leverage there. All the lanes are shoved out, map under Heroic's control. Still a ton of room to grow as well if they wanted. You've got the Satanic and Yuma. He can just hold his ground and hit away at heroes as long as his BKB is active. You've got 4K in the bank for Analog, who can consider something that helps speed the process up. Maybe something like the Ags if you so wished. Scotty wouldn't be too bad either. Just to kind of build up here. And for Edge, again, they're not out of it. They have to play in a very specific way. It's either a good avalanche toss back on an isolated target, usually happens around high ground defense, or they somehow tie in this convoluted combination of having Vitaly get jumped first, having him expend everything on the bristleback, getting the good stomp off and Earth Splitter to set up for Pyke, and trying to clean up there. There's also maybe room to grow once PP has this full Ags up, giving him the mini black hole to play with, and that certainly can improve their shot in team fights. That's the kind of initiation they are lacking. So this Ags timing, probably a better launching point for Edge if they can just wait out the 1,000 gold PP needs here.
Amp damage. Yuma's going to find himself an amp damage just before the fight that they're looking to start. The perfect rune. He's hitting for about 750 per right click on the Morphlink at the moment. If he gets the chance to hit anyone, that is. Rocket Flare is going to see Vitaly. Whisper looking for a way in. Vitaly has no idea they're coming. He'll get a Lotus off just in the nick of time, but it's not going to matter against Yuma. It will not matter. 75 seconds without Vitaly up. That is an opportunity for them to try and move high ground, but they don't know he doesn't have buyback. It's just the goal that's lacking.
Yeah, a little bit harder to read. And they did expend BKB there on Pyke. So it's not going to be as comfy for them to try to siege without that protection for Yuma and without an Aegis to back him up as well. Might be a little bit conservative going forward, but they are still looking for people to poke out. If there is an opportunity for a freebie, a 3v5 starts to become really appealing for high ground here.
He's going to start with just clearing out the creep waves, but Michael, he did get spotted in the rocket flares of Schofield, and Michael, you need those tossbacks for these defenses. That's what worked out for them last time, but without the Tiny or the Bristle, that'll be at least a tier 3 tower, if not just a melee barracks. They will slow it down the best they can with the dead shots, but it is not making too much of a difference here. Yuma's got the banner up as well, so it's going to be pretty hard to clear out the creep wave, and Pippi has been caught. Whisper, he had the lasso ready. Yuma just going to jump in, and Pippi is down to boot. No buyback for him either. Everybody's lacking gold.
He just bought the Ags. Like, we were talking about this being the big tool for Edge, and he dies trying to clear out the creep wave. I don't know, like, you have to wait a full minute for your own team fight to come in. You're getting Megas here. You might even get endgame if you're feeling frisky on Heroic. If they can find you coming in one by one once more, it's going to be over. You have to be a little bit conservative on Edge, at least until PP's back up.
We'll move in Yuma. Getting back onto those tier 3s. The last one is now down. Michael looking for a toss, does get it onto the Morphling, but he can of course just waveform away. Macropie dropped early on as well, not really connecting on much. Yuma still just standing his ground as they'll drop the Wukong's command to protect him. Even with the BKB going, Yuma doesn't really need to back off too much, but it looks like he's running out of resources. So they will not find the final melee barracks, which means they are not getting megas. They're almost at 3 lanes of barracks.
So fast, right? Like those 2 pickoffs.
Yes.
I mean, it just goes so quick when they manage to find those openings. Again, just 2 pickoffs. It all takes a little bit of a mistake out from PP. Now they've got the coverage of the secondary life up on Yuma, and they can just start to look for the end game. Mind you, PP has to show off this mini black hole. Like, the AoE Vortex has to kick in. They have to hope for the best off of it. This is their best shot on Edge to try to reel this game back in. Whether or not they have enough for 2 lives on Yuma, though, is a different question. It doesn't feel like they will, but maybe if they just layer their spells just right, they could go through. At the very least, wipe everyone else before anything happens. Although Heroic could just smoke and end the game.
They're smoking up and ending the game by the looks of it. They just wrap around the Ancient, okay.
Jeez.
Nobody there. Jump in, here we go. They've got a target. It's going to be Yotomi. Zip in from PP. He's going to go for the Vortex. It's only on 1 though. Here comes Pyke with the Pierce the Veil. He gets 1 down. Yuma loses the Aegis. That's 1 life gone. But Pyke's running out of his BKB, and now the hook shot. Schofield's going to lock him in the Macropire. That's Pyke down for 100. No way to defend, I don't think, without the Muerta, but they're going to try. And Yuma, he is actually going to retreat for a little bit as Pippi becoming a bit of an issue. Michael to jump in, Schofield will die, but now they jump back onto Michael. And ensure they get a support trade. Whisper also jumping in with just the Firefly alone, trying to force Pippi back into the fight. Yuma chasing down Vitali in the meantime. Can't quite kill him. Will go instead onto the ET, but can't finish the job off on there either. And here come the more TPs. Pippi's trying again. Vitali TPing back towards the bottom lane. They will find Whisper. Yuma's still trying to fight this one out. He'll eat the cheese up. Moving back onto Yotomi. The Elder Titan still surviving. Now back to Analog, who's trying to heal up, but Vitali just standing his ground, and Pippi will take him down as they continue. Yuma trying for the TP away. He is going to make it. And by the way, John, Mega Creeps never came up because they never went for it.
No. They tried to end the game. I appreciate that little play from Heroic, but Edge, you're seeing the issues coming in with that mini black hole, with the BKB starting to wither down in duration. There are openings here for PP to weave in and out. And when Lasso is down, you don't have that stable way of just locking in the storm. They hang in for their lives here on the side of Edge. A very well executed teamfight defense coming through for them. And for the side of Heroic, they're not fully set back too badly, and they get this full refresh buyout on Yuma. Roshan still 5 minutes away until it potentially respawns here, so it's a long way to go. But just having double BKB should fix a couple of issues for our Morphling. Mind you, mana management is becoming a little bit difficult for Yuma, having to constantly attribute shift in and out and trying to maximize his morph as well. He does lose gas in these longer fights, especially after eating the cheese now. No secondary resource to bail him out. Edge, for their part, again, it's still a very cautious game for them. They've still got to play it a little bit safe. They've got to bank on PP. It's down to the Storm. He's got the setup. He's got to provide opportunities. He's got to find some openings. You are getting some good tools to save you from the lasso, though. Yadomi has 1 Linken's up. You've already got Linken's up on Pyke as well. So the double Linken's, if you can pass it on to, say, onto PP, that can make all the difference. Because again, that hold for Storm Spirit, it's going to be a lot harder to find with all of these barriers up. And that's going to make Heroic's endgame goal just that much harder to find. Again, we might be stuck waiting for next Roche off of that defense. And for Edge, they're stuck in their high ground. They have set some good forward vision out, though. So they do have eyes as to where Heroic's playing. They saw them cross the river. And we can kind of just try to set up and hope for the best in the next fight.
Yeah, I mean, they're holding out for now. You got to give props to Edge where props is due. I think if you're Heroic, you're probably thinking maybe we should have just gone for the Megas. And I'm sure that'll probably be the big adjustment they make, going high ground again. Just go for the Megas next time, and then deal with the team fight. Roshan's going to be a long time away as well, so that I don't know if they really want to wait out that long for the next Roshan. So we'll give time for everyone to have buyback on Edge. Here we go. So careful for Whisper looking for those lasso opportunities. You don't have anything like, oh, there it is, the lasso. Hippie's been caught out. And that is your Storm dead, but he does have buyback. You've got nothing like a Lincoln's here for the Storm, John. He's kind of a sitting duck if he gets caught like that. He will buy back. Right into the cogs he goes. And that'll be a buyback committed for pretty much nothing. Gets nothing for it, but a nice little defense on the high ground.
They're going to hold for now. I'm a bit surprised. Again, no one was nearby to try to pop Lincolns on. Again, they have double Lincolns on the side of Edge. You've got one on Yarumi and Pike. You need to protect that Storm somehow. Sacrifices have to be made. They did pop one, mind. I believe Yarumi did pass it, I guess, onto Vitaly earlier on. So Pike didn't want to risk his own life. Still, if you find PP at this point, it's game over. Like, you need that Storm. Blink Dagger up as well for KJ, so you can try to angle in for the Ice Patent Macropyre a little bit cleaner here. Roche again, slow ways off, but the side of Heroic doing a great job of just keeping all the lanes shoved in, having to deal with super creeps. It's a rough go for Edge. They just can't leave high ground no matter what.
They are stuck, but they're not stuck against Megas. That's the big positive. So Heroic just keeping tabs, sticking around the river, making sure they've got first dibs on Roshan, of course. You're at the point where they may not feel the need to try again for high ground, because you can still go for Roshan and just not have buyback on Pippi for a little bit. But there's a smoke. They might try. Here we go. Can you avoid the lasso of Whisper? Is the question for Pippi. Whisper's going to wrap around through the mid, down towards the bottom, back to the mid. Yuma will get started on the barracks. They'll zip in, trying to help him out. Pippi trying to get some damage off, but nothing really happening yet as they will look to burst down Michael. The Tiny is gone. No buyback for him. Meanwhile, Pike, he's going to pop the Pierce the Veil, trying to go after KJ and Schofield. Both of them will survive. Eventually, Schofield will die, but they've lost the racks. Mega creeps incoming. Is now Pike being targeted by Yuma. Pike trying to run with the BKB. Does make it for now as Whisper. He wastes his lasso. It was broken on the Lincolns. They've got the mega creeps though. They might just want to retreat out of here. Yuma looking to turn Pippi. Has he gone too far? The balance strike is out, locking him down a little bit longer though. He'll turn once again onto Yuma, but Yuma will stand his ground. He's afraid of nothing on this Morphling. And Heroic, again, they can just retreat. They got what they came for. Roshan should be up relatively soon. They can just wait.
That's a good way to split up the fight. Again, they take it in two fronts. A little bit of a long flank out there from Yuma. And I'm surprised they commit the Fortify for the last racks instead of the tier 4s. You've got a big window where there's no stopping a tier 4 push, especially after the Roche timing. It's still halfway through until the longest Roche, and you'll still have half the cooldown remaining on Fortify for tier 4s. This could just be, again, pretty much the end game for Heroic to close out the game. Edge, I mean, if they can fight, if they can defend twice over, if they can find two fights back-to-back, where they can get the punishment onto Heroic, where they can get this utility out from PP, get the spacing you need for Pike to actually kill cores, not just the supports, and then there is still a chance. It's just those chances are starting to grow slim, Mike. You look at the graphs here, Heroic, they've been in command for this entire game, now at a 96% win probability, and they've got the Megas, they've still got tier 2s. It's a long road for Edge, but it starts with a very solid high ground defense that has to come in for these tier 4s.
They're holding for now. Again, I mean, Heroic, they're not rushing. They're waiting for Roche. There isn't hammer damage on Yuma, though, in fairness. This guy just can't miss on the power runes today. There's Roshan. They have not spotted it. In fact, Yuma's probably made the call to just go because he's hitting for about 1,000 damage per right click right now. They find Pippi. Lasso's up. Pippi. Oh, he's caught again. And Yuma rips him a new one. See you later, Pippi. There goes Michael. And there goes the game, I think, for Edge. Pike's going to try one last time with the Pierce the Veil, but it's already worn off. He's got to retreat. And now Heroic can look towards those T4 towers. That pesky storm is gone. Both T4s down. Jump on Vitali. Yuma, he'll look to retreat a little bit. Ancient now completely exposed. Vitali still trying to buy some time here, but it's so much time you've got to buy. And Vitali just doesn't have any himself. They'll take down Pike to boot. You've lost your Pos 1 Muerta. You've lost Michael. You've lost Vitali. They'll buy it back, but GG is finally called. And Heroic, in fairness to the pick, you know, there's not really any counters here for it. Like, you've got a Monkey King that can find him. That's pretty much it. Everybody else is a bit of a sitting duck to this sniper, so it does feel like Analog is going to have to do some pretty heavy lifting to try and find this sniper every time.
He is. Again, there's also no clear, like, initiation, like, even outside of just the vision. Follow-through initiation isn't that clean. You've got to bristleback offlane. It's not going to go blink. It's not a build-up for the hero to just stand in front that way. You kind of need to run in. The only real viable way of instantly jumping the sniper is through something like a very fast shard here from Analog. Mind you, there's some quirkiness. Like, we go back to this Luna idea. Imagine, Mike, a Luna Ags rushed, so lining that with, say, a fast shard on the Monkey. That's one way.
Oh, yeah.
It clips up.
Pike. Downless gonna land. Does have the fear here from Yadomi. Still, they are slowing him up a lot with these goos, and Pike is getting hit very hard now by Whisper. So they'll turn to Yadomi, but Schofield now getting surrounded. Schofield's the one to go down. Whisper will try to get away, but the stuns are out from Pike. He might just have to fight, but to tame the beasts, making it very hard to get anything, and already 2 kills to go the way of Edge. What a start.
One start, that's what you need. When you're statistically with heroes that aren't winning heroes, you need a good start for yourself to get things going. And, you know, PP finding one of those kills, pretty big deal for himself. First blood overall, so he's got that extra fast start into the double Wraith Bands, which will cause problems here for the Monkey. Like, this is where this pick makes the most sense. You're laning against the Monkey King. You want to have a good first 2 levels up against this hero. A fast Wraith Band certainly sets the tone quite nicely. Whereas for Analog, his own double Wraith Band timing, it's going to take a lot longer. So, into the brown boots as well, which is necessary to kind of run down the sniper. You've got a window of opportunity for PP to still control. Mind you, Analog's still doing a great job in terms of managing the lane anyhow. The damage isn't ramping up just yet on PP, so you can get that kind of done. We're seeing some poking and prodding up top. KJ poking down onto Michael, as they are buying space out for the 2 cores to just duke it off on Yuma and Vitali as well on the side there. And this lane match up top is the one that's probably a little bit more even. Like, the Brewmaster, in terms of the lane, certainly has some play. You roll the Cinder Brew out, you can Thunderclap on such a short ranged hero. At the least, KJ will always counteract. The Aphotic Shield will just ruin that. Like, you have 2 heroes reliant on those DOTs, the hero as well. Not a lot of value when you're playing up against an Abaddon in lane.
Not really. A lot of value here for the Abaddon, though. Bottom lane, Whisper is going to lose his life. Pike able to find him. Another kill already coming out now for Edge. So they will lose the Bristleback. And these Slaughters, they can be ultra scary. If they do get off to a start, it can be very hard to slow these guys down, especially in this water patch.
And it can be. Jungling for Pike's gonna feel pretty nice as well because of that added regen, of course, in that extended jungle. I think the main thing, it's like we were talking about in the draft for the bot lane, Whisper needs to sit out until level 3, probably level 4, until he's ultra comfy and trading blows with Pike. Otherwise, the bashes just come in. The damage is there. You don't really have that durability lined up for yourself. You're still taking a look at the poking up top. I do like that KJ did go for the quickening as well over Mephetic Shroud. Like having that lower cooldown of Photic Shield even in lane, yeah, you know, it's a few seconds, a few fractions of a second per creep, but more uptime means more saves. And down the line, it's going to be very impactful when you're starting to play with, say, borrowed time, when you're playing with, in a long game, something like the Ags as well. There's a lot of utility that can come out with this facet up. It's not the one you see too often, but it does have its room here.
Mid lane, surprisingly, going better than expected, I'd say, for Analog. Like, this should be a pretty big kind of whitewash lane for Pippi. And he is winning the lane, of course, on the sniper, but Analog's doing a very good job of kind of keeping up with the CS. Not taking too much harassment either from the sniper. Of course, we do get to see Yuma just getting a Photic shielded every time. He's taking a bit too much damage here from this Jakiro, so not really too much Michael could do in that top lane, sadly. But it is what it is. It's Abaddon, John. Nobody enjoys laning against this hero. They'll try again. Just every time. It's great. It's one of my favorite heroes to play, dude. It's just, you know, you just can't do anything against it. It's amazing.
Yeah. I love it. Like, especially when you hit Ags. It's just such a funny hero. It used to be better. You know, they nerfed the crap out of the Ags, dude. But it's still strong. Still appreciate it. A little bit of a chase down onto Schofield. Yadomi does have the impalement arts.
He does. Line it up. See if he wants to throw it out. Oh, it does connect. Schofield, it's a Fairy Fire. Yadomi trying to get within range. Does hit the Tame the Beast. Has another impalement art. But he doesn't need it. The right click will prove to be enough. Yadomi securing a kill down at Schofield, and that makes it 4-0 already for Edge. A very nice start.
I would argue that's actually pretty alright for Heroic. Look at what's happening in that bot lane for Whisper and Pyke. Whisper's caught up in terms of CS, 21-6. Pyke can't close the gap anymore. We're at that level 3, level 4 mark where the builds start to hurt. You're managing to dish some damage back here on Whisper, and he's catching up. Pyke's off to a bit of a slower start. He can always catch up in the jungle, but he's not the quickest jungler in the world. At least with a water jungle, he can be quite nice there in terms of sustaining. True. But that is something that Yuma will always be slightly ahead in. Just playing with the Glaives, naturally a very fast jungle farmer. They are rotating onto PP now.
Analog, big chase. Pippi, he was having a great time in that mid lane, but looking for that kill. Analog being protected here by KJ. Pippi still running. Boundless Strike's going to land, though, and now with the Boundless and the Jingu, it's a bit too hard to survive. Onto Michael, they'll go. Analog trying to protect Schofield, can't really do so, but it's very worthwhile for these rotations. Killing off that mid-sniper, handing a kill to Analog. It's exactly what you want to see. Because if this sniper doesn't have a good game, you know, and Pyke ends up dropping off in the slider, you're going to be sitting ducks. It's going to be very hard.
And it is the highest net worth hero to find as well. Timing is pretty interesting as we're still going into the power rune, so you've got room here to stick on Yadomi. Just try to secure a big one. Even Michael showing up. The rest of Heroic not quite hanging around the area. So let's surrender the rune. Not the biggest one in the world though, it's just a regen. So Analog will just use this time to look for that rotation top. You don't have any, it's still a ways from the split for Vitality. Is aware, as there was that sneaky ward right by the Roche pit. So the movement here might not pan out to too much, but you can see the pressure already mounting up. They are starting to push in mid, with Jakiro showing up though. And with PP at 6, with the 2 rate bands and power treads up, he does do some good poke damage on that objective.
Vitali, they're going to try for the Brewmaster. It's not a very easy kill attempt though onto Vitali, though they're still giving it a crack, but the Brewmaster will be able to run away with that Storm Brawler stance. So instead, they'll start pressuring the tier 1 tower. They do have the siege creep, so it's not too hard to get this done. They'll even glyph up the creeps, and that is going to be a nice early tower for the side of Heroic to take. They don't get the Brew, but the Brew can't protect the tower anyways. Now Whisper fighting with Yadomi over this Shrine of Wisdom, but he will see Pyke rotate as well. So Whisper not wanting to stick around too long. Meanwhile, Analog getting tipped here by Yuma. He did get a Shrine of Wisdom, so there is that.
That he did. They did manage to sneak with one themselves here on Edge, so they don't miss out on too much, I suppose. Yadomi still managed to sneak through. It's not like Whisper would want to give out free farm down bot. So you do manage to at least trade objectives there. The mid siege, it has managed to drag this tier 1 mid down to 139 HP. So already being denied away by Schofield. Well, at least take the gold away. But that does open up the map more. Look at these aggressive wards that Edge has set up. Right below the ramp, spotting out if anyone goes into the triangle, leads to some good rotations down the line. The timing for Edge to start to play fast is slowly ramping it. You know, it's level 6 is up on Pike, just needs his Blink Dagger first, not going for anything like the Echo Saber to scale up. Wants to get active early. And once you do have that initial item up, things can get scary. Like a sniper having Corrosive Haze target to hit, very easy for PP to start to melt heads. They'll try to move with a smoke out and an amp damage rune in their control as well. They will pick it up, try to see what they can take. Top, if they can find Yuma, would be a very nice one to slow down here, as the Luna has been free farming.
That's where they're headed. Problem is KJ is around to break the smoke, and he will indeed. Pippi, he'll move in with that amp damage. KJ will happily tank the gank for his carry. Yuma, can he get it? Oh, he cannot. Pike finds him. Pike will find him. And unfortunately for Heroic, they will lose both, as suddenly Edge now pushing out that top tier 1 tower. They should have it as well. It shouldn't be much of a defense to come. But the Luna kill is pretty massive. Something they desperately needed.
It is. They really needed to put a stop to that scaling. They've got a good advantage for themselves 9 minutes in. 7-1, 2k advantage. And for Heroic, it's going to be a slow game, right? Like, you have the same issue now with the Bristleback that we saw from Vitality last time, where it's really not going to do much in the first 15 to 20 minutes without farm. Could try on Yadomi at least.
Tommy trying to set up onto Whisper. Help is incoming. Whisper eventually does just leave. So no kills to come, but lines are being drawn out to the mid lane, so it seems like Edge want to kind of rotate over there and see what they can get done. Things are looking very good right now for Edge. 2k net worth advantage, and all 3 of their cores are at the top of the net worth board. Pippi really starting to pull ahead on this sniper. He understands that the name of the game is just hitting creeps this game. He does not need to try and force anything as a sniper. Just sit back and relax until you're at that stage where they just can't contest you. KJ, underneath the ward, is going to be spotted by Vitali and Michael. And does get caught, is not level 6 yet, so it's going to be another gold influx going the way of Pippi, who just assassinates from a mile away.
Yeah, they're getting full value from that ward. Again, very clever from Yadomi earlier on to get that. He even managed to, for a moment, block off the stacks, although they didn't manage to build it up, get the D ward going for themselves. 8-1, no openings presenting itself for the side of Heroic. And for Heroic, this just boils down to really how the lanes were executed and more so of how their draft is done. There's no play. Like you were talking about it earlier. Like catching the sniper, it's down to the Monkey King. Getting anything done, it's down to Analog. And again, his mid lane matchup was a lot slower. He doesn't have that snowball build up. They're getting pressured across the map, and really there's nothing that Luna and Bristleback can do. And your 2 supports can't connect alone with the Monkey King. They need everybody forward. So they're just gonna have to cede some ground. Give up this bot tier 1. Stem the bleeding on the side of Heroic, hope for the best in terms of farm buildup. You've got the Mask of Madness on Yuma, and he's got a lot of room up top. So his farm acceleration is there into the Manta, eventually into the Butterfly way later down the line. They get the blocks going again on the side of Edge, keeping constant track of the triangle. They're just doing everything to ensure that this recovery process is not going to be there.
Right triangle. Yadomi, nice tame the beast. Pike moving back in, wants to try for Analog as they've got Pippi around. And Pippi, again, can not really be contested right now as a very nice will has been dropped. They're still trying to run, but Analog dropping low now as well. Will cop and assassinate, but the Aphotic Shield will block off most of the damage, and a very nice mischief dodge, in fact. Will ensure he takes no damage. But Whisper also being chased now, not looking too healthy. KJ is around to try and help him out, but he's still looking pretty squishy at the moment on this Bristleback, and he is gone. It's even Vitali finding another target. He'll catch the Abaddon, and KJ is still level 4. Another kill for Pippi.
He's getting a little bit too farmed up on the sniper. They'll clear out the Ancients as well with a Macro Pyre. That recovery goal just gone for Heroic. Again, just such smart gameplay coming out from Edge. They draft something that's ultra fast that, you know, requires a very specific playstyle, but they're finding it here. Heroic, for their part, it feels like they need like 10 full minutes of farm. There's no way they're going to be able to play within that time span. Like, they need these items to be up. Whisper just going for a Lotus Orb. The Shard's going to be a good one to help him set up for the team, but it's just so far off. Mage Slayer for Analog is one start. I would say it's not quite enough either. They need armor going here on Edge. And that's going to take gold. All they can do is just stall for time. There's not going to be a lot of ground left to bleed, though, as once the pressure's onto the tier 2s, you're just losing way too much map space.
Schofield narrowly going to survive. They'll drop the Wheel of Wonder once again. Schofield just trying to avoid it, but can't really get away. Another kill here for Edge. They're just completely taken off here in this game, too. 5k advantage their way now. Like, yes, you still have Yuma free farming, but that's a Luna versus Sniper, and Pippi's just not slowing down at all. Like, you still really haven't found any way of being able to slow this Sniper down this game. And Edge, they're not really taking their time. They're taking objectives every chance they get. They understand that perhaps later on they could find themselves in a spot of danger. They do not want to wait too long. It seems like they'll get started on that tier 2 bottom tower while they're at it. Whisper will be there to defend, and that might force Edge back, but then again, Pippi could just, you know, stand outside of tower range. Just do it that way.
Yeah. No real pressure to lay off here on the side of Edge. They smoke up, might get a long flank around, lines drawn towards top. They know that's the most secure area that Heroic has been trying to build up on. We are 14 minutes in. KJ is still level 5. That is very unfortunate to kind of see on my screen, but it's just the state of the game. There's really nowhere to play. They just ran down the lanes. Top lane is probably their best lane, and then it's just really not achieving much. They'll try mid, but
yeah, Schofield's gonna die. Just, you know, buys a bit of time with the pierce the veil, but that's about all he's gonna get. Vitali's being watched here by Analog. There is some help from KJ and Yuma around, but they're just trying to take as many creeps as they can from this area before they have to leave. And Vitali is having a look along with Michael. They will TP Yuma out of there and leave KJ behind. So KJ is going to tank it for his squad. He just needs one creep so he can hit level 6 as well. But he's not going to get it. Poor guys. 3 XP off level 6.
Yeah, it's a rough game. Again, it did great in lane, but your 2 supports are just too passive to connect with the Monkey King. So you're just stuck.
Schofield now being caught.
Oh.
Yeah, I mean, Pike says he's having a field day here, Pike. He's slaughtered, John. He sees these squishy supports. He just blinks in happily. Knows that they can't do anything. And of course now, why not just go for the Tormentor? It's about that time.
Doesn't take too long. With the Corrosive Haze ready. And with the damage they have, naturally, it's just a very quick objective.
Analog?
Nice free shard.
Whew. The Analog's being chased by Vitali. He finally gets a TP point away, but that was getting a bit too close for comfort. He's kind of lucky that Vitali didn't have a Quelling Blade on him because he knew where he was in the tree line. Unfortunate for Vitali. The question is, what do they want now, Edge? Lines have been drawn through the top lane. So it seems like they're going to maybe take over that area of the map, go for that tier 2 top tower. They understand they can't be contested at the moment. A full Radiance up on Vitali as well to make matters worse for Heroic. And they're just desperately trying to give Yuma time, but it's like Yuma's farm's just not keeping up. Not with Pippi.
No.
Sniper's farm pretty quick.
It is. I think the one thing that as well that's just making this game hellish for Heroic is all the vision from Edge. Again, they still have that deep behind tier 2 ward. They have that cliff ward hanging on the right side. They have this deep ward on the top jungle behind the tier 2 as well. Like, they have all the info they need as to where they're farming up on. Maybe just lacking the cliff ward now on the Dire side by the tier 2 as well on mid. Still getting space out to clear that top tier 2. No contest from Heroic. And Heroic just have nothing to do. They've got Manta on Yuma. That's not going to be enough yet. Analog?
Analog. Now caught. Nowhere to go here for the MK. He's down to boot. Oh boy, Edge. Finding a mega kill now for Pyke. He's just had, again, a great game on the Slaughter, 5-0-5. And Edge drawing lines directly back towards that dire triangle now. I mean, maybe even just Roshan. Because why not? You've got the damage, you've got a Slaughter. And they'll just get started. There's no way to stop them either. Heroic's nowhere near the area. They just want to hit some creeps and get some tier 1 towers while they can. And so Roshan will freely be given the way of Edge.
You just have to wait. You have to hope your high ground hold is good. And that's asking for a lot, considering your lack of team fight overall. But that seems like the play they have, outside of just waiting for farm. Try to hold high ground, or just get this build up. Hit at least the butterfly on Yuma, and things can start to go. Instant smoke out, they know where the side of Heroic's playing, because they're not showing under any of the wards. And they did just siege bot. Got a good flank here on the side of Edge.
They're coming. Edge want to force the fight. Heroic will look to back off at the correct time. Pyke, though, should at least find one. Smoke broken on Schofield. He'll blink the wrong way, but eventually does find the Muerta. Schofield's going to pop Pierce the Veil. Uh-oh, hold on a minute. Pyke, he's dropping quick, but the escape act is going to give him a chance at life, and he makes it out. He makes it out on a slither of HP. And now they'll lose KJ on top. Whisper, KJ, Schofield, they all die. You might have been able to make the argument had they found Pyke, like the gold influx could have been somewhat worth, but he got away just barely.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, it's the Ringmaster and the saves. Just too much. Again, you lack control on the side of Heroic. You somewhat have damage if Eclipses onto one, but very rare you find those opportunities to only twack one in this kind of game. A freebie courier as well, like everything going wrong. I'll try again, but you don't have Eclipse here.
They're going to give it a crack. No Eclipse to play with. They'll try onto Yodomi first. Yodomi, though, with the escape act walking away for now, but Yuma trying to find him. Still, the Fury's out. Can they actually kill this Ringmaster? No, they can't. No, they can't. Though Analog is kind of cleaning up. He'll get the Pippi Aegis down. Does find himself a Michael Jakiro, but it's all him right now. The rest of his squad is just gone. Is Analog at least able to escape? But even the Ringmaster's not dying. Like, Yodomi still walks away from Yuma. And Yuma's gone the right-click build, so he doesn't really have much of a choice in this matter. He just has to run at them and fight.
Yeah, it's a rough go for Heroic, but Edge have played wonderful. Like, this is such a good bounce back for this team, considering how game one went, how back and forth that one is. This is very clean coming out from them. They know their timings. They know when to connect together. Their draft, even though statistically, individually, these heroes aren't great, it all makes sense in this context, in what Heroic has brought up against them. For Heroic, it's the same story. Nothing's changed here. You have to sit back, you have to farm, you have to hope for the best, you have to hit these item timings. You're at the point where your Bristleback's just looking for a Analog.
Yeah, Analog caught by Pyke. Pyke will just wave him goodbye. There's nothing he can do. I mean, at least they're not out of the game yet here, Heroic, but Edge now 14k ahead, complete control. It's 23-2. Not a scoreline you'd quite expect to see after game one, but that's exactly what we're seeing. There is just no answers here for Pippi. Or Pyke for that matter. T3 tower under siege, Whisper. Like, this is the sniper game for you, right? Like, you walk in to try and defend, you lose most of your HP and you run away sadly.
Yeah. And it's a sniper with full Mjolnir, double rate band, Hurricane 5 power treads at 21 minutes in, 14k net worth for PP, full 3k above Yuma. And this picture ain't getting any prettier for Heroic. Edge, they've bounced back in good form. And this is one of the beautiful things about SA versus SA. You never know what you're going to get sometimes.
Now KJ's being chased down here by Pippi. Completely surrounded. He's had a horrific game here, KJ. Just hasn't been able to do much of anything. And props to Heroic. I mean, they're still trying here, John. They are giving it their best to keep themselves in this game. I'm trying to find a point where you could maybe argue that you can deal with Pippi. It just, again, is a matter of how do you actually jump the sniper apart from, like, having Analog do it. Last team fight, Analog did manage to get the Aegis off the sniper, and when he's stuck in the Wukong's command, it's not that hard. But it's a matter of getting him in that Wukong's and just holding him down long enough.
The difficult part. It's just a matter of, again, patience from the side of Heroic. Like, once you get more damage up in Yuma, like, mind you, no one's went for like an MKB or a Bloodthorn, so the Butterfly Evasion is going to be helpful. Yeah, you're going to have to play into Radiance yourself. It's pretty annoying, but at the least you do have damage and some EHP to play with on Yuma once this is fully assembled. Still a ways off, though, from that full Butterfly. Still lacking gold for Claymore at this point, so 1.3k gold to farm. A couple of more minutes they need to stall. For Edge, I mean, one set of pickoffs could lead to the high ground with no problem. We'll find KJ again, but at this point, you really don't want the Ava. He doesn't care anymore, dude.
He's tired. Does actually get away this time. KJ's not that tired. He's still alive. Analog and Whisper hanging out top. I mean, they could think about looking for Vitali, but Vitali's TPing bottom. Yuma is going to be in a spot of danger now as Pyke's made the jump in. Yuma, he may have no choice but to try and fight. Pyke's going to pop his BKB, and now Vitali just going to completely surround this Luna. Pyke there as well. Yuma has to fight, but there's no fighting. He's just standing in the macro with no BKB, no damage, no HP.
No. PP.
You'd almost think he was playing Luna Jump.
Yeah, almost. While all of that's happening, PP's just hitting Rex. He hit tier 3s. He's hitting Rex. He does not care. This is an ideal sniper game. 25-2, 17k up. Heroic. And again, they're inching towards these timings. Maybe not even inching. Maybe they're going by the millimeter here, Mikey. Very small increments into a point where they try to reach a playable state. Look, Analog almost has BKB. That could be the start of something new. But with your high ground under siege like this, you're going to be playing into at least one lane of super creeps. Probably more, let's face it. There's no reason to stop here on Edge. You know there's no Eclipse. That's the big thing that could scare them. It's just not there. They'll play it safe. They don't want to bleed that lead back, and they are cutting off creep waves. KJ is just trying to snipe what he can with what time he's given. Same thing for Analog, just weaving in and out of top. So the stall game is there, and surprisingly, they do keep their range racks from this conservative play of Edge. Does feel like they can just push everything off the Edge at this point.
Yeah, it does. I'm kind of surprised they only got away with that, to be honest. But I guess you don't want to risk throwing the game, and you still have a tier 2 tower to deal with up at top as KJ. May as well be a tower now. It's just constantly dead here, the poor Abaddon. Pippi finding his 10th kill of the game now. 10-1-4 is his score. Again, like, if Analog can get to a point where he can actually fight, this could be dangerous. I mean, they are jumping Vitali right now. Vitali may be out of position. And every kill does matter if they can actually secure it. He's gonna primal split, though. And the chase is on now for Yuma. Pippi's coming to boot. It's dangerous, Yuma. Tornado him up.
He just bought Butterfly.
He just bought the Butterfly. Well, that's not good news, is it, John?
No.
At least the respawn's time is still only 50 seconds. It's not that bad.
Yeah,
they were so close
early
too.
On. I mean, it's so awkward. They forced that in Heroic. He didn't have his Butterfly in the inventory when they were fighting. Like, he didn't have that extra bit of damage. I thought he did. Then I saw the courier delivered. I'm like, he didn't have it. That was awkward. No. Heroic's getting a little bit frisky, Mikey. Getting a little bit excited, but I don't know. 18k, 27-2. Into the high ground they go. Look, 5 more kills, and I guess you could call GG, right? If Edge gets 5 more without you finding anything in Heroic, you gotta call GG. You hit the number, it's done. It's cooked.
Oh, now Ag's up on Pyke to make matters worse. So that high ground becomes even harder to defend against this Pippi sniper and the Slaughter of Pike. Yuma's going to be very cautious not to show himself here on this Luna, but it seems like they're going to try and force something here heroic. I mean, you are approaching desperate times now, and Roshan is about to start. You can't really afford to give this away as heroic. You've got to try something. There's just so much vision for Edge that you have to play around. They'll wrap around the Roshan pit. They're looking to try and get towards that Radiant Triangle. Yodomi could get spotted. In fact, I do believe they saw him for a moment, but the smoke is not broken. They'll head directly west to the Shrine of Wisdom. They'll hold that position and hope Edge come to them, but Edge have smoked up. Looking to move into that dire jungle. They'll move back towards the west now, going back towards their own shrine. Pike's going to jump in on Schofield. Schofield looks like he's just going to be sacrificed on the Muerta. And he is. And that should just mean Roshan will go the way of Edge. But again, I don't think you can really allow this to go. But they've already left. Analog's already TP'd back to the base. They're just going to let it go for free.
Yeah, there's nothing they can do. They lose their range tracks to the creeps as well. Just makes it so obvious the smoke's happening here. Hero can prepare their lanes first. Heroish gonna go fast and easy here for the side of Edge. And hey, we're 4 kills away. Full MKB up now, so the butterfly of Yuma not gonna feel as effective as our little machine gun sniper. He's scoping through a, what is it? Is it the LAW? No, it's the, I forget what it's called. A nice little machine gun, an M60. There you go. That's a nice gun. He's just hammering away now, Mike. I don't know how he's so accurate with such a high rate of fire, but he is.
When you use such the gun expert, John?
I just watch a lot of video. You know, it's just fun. It's cool. You play a couple of shooter games, you get curious, Mike.
I don't. Pippi. T3 tower now under siege. You have a matter of how do you defend this against Pippi. Deadshot's of course going to buy some time from Schofield. Jump in from Analog. Just a cheeky boundless strike is all it took. However, Whisper in trouble. Does use the Ghost Scepter and gets the hell out of there. T3 tower back under siege. The spotlight being dropped here by Yodomi. Make things even more awkward. Another deadshot to land on Pippi. Pike to jump in. Yuma in trouble. Look at the damage on Yuma. Yuma trying to walk away from this. He's got nothing to protect. He'll try and drop the Eclipse, but he's gone. No buyback. On to Whisper. Whisper's deleted. KJ just wants to just let this game end, I think. GG's called.
One more.
Are they not going to find the 3-2-2? Come on, Pippi's trying. Pippi is trying.
Come on. Give it to
For the viewers, Pippi. Oh, he doesn't get it.
You drag this into a longer game. You get decent or at least even farm into, say, 20 minutes here. I'd say that's a favorable moment for Hero because we get the mass tips going again, as you would expect in a South America versus South America match.
I mean, you know, again, one of these teams has to leave after this game, Jonathan. You may as well just, you know, hand the tips out now. You know, handshakes all around. It's a best of 3. We're at the 3rd game. It's been a fun time. I mean, game 2 was a little bit boring. I'm not going to lie, John. It was pretty one-sided. You know, It's a sniper game, but that's okay. Game 3 is here. There's no sniper in this game, John. There's no stupid heroes. Well, there is a prophet.
Hey.
That's not too bad.
There's the Ogre Magi. What do you mean?
Yeah, you know,
you saying Ogre's not stupid?
He is stupid, John.
How dare you? That's an insult.
But he's a forgivable stupid, John. He can't help it. It's not like you. You know, you could help being stupid, but you don't.
What do you mean? I am just stupid. Stupid
No,
as stupid does, as what was it? Forrest Gump used to say, yeah? Have you watched Forrest Gump?
I have.
Okay.
It's overrated. John, I'm gonna say
it's overrated. It's overrated.
Oh,
Anything that pulls in the heartstrings for the non-existent heart of Michael Phoenix is overrated because he doesn't feel anything. He's stoic. Stoic as hell. Oh, I'm so deep. I don't feel anything. Oh, the material world doesn't matter. Ah.
Well, none of what you just said is negative, though, is it, John? None of what you just said is negative. You just made it sound negative with your tone.
Look, there's a certain point to stoicism, right?
Stoicism,
There's a certain
Jonathan,
point
yes.
to it. I don't care. There's a point to it, right? It's almost like a nihilistic thing, but nihilism has a positive side. Whatever it is, stoicism for the sake of stoicism is just it's just sad. It's just sad. Why not feel emotion? Why not? As they start with 3 for 1 on the bounties, they should feel some emotions and edge. They're not Sork, they're playing Dota too. They're having, well, maybe not fun. There's some pressure here with elimination, but they feel things, Mike. Our players have hearts.
It's gotten too late for you, has it, John? We've gotten into the philosophy now. My goodness. There's mid lane. We'll ignore that for now. Analog versus Pippi. This should obviously be Pippi favored. Obviously, you can abuse the axes a little bit as Analog, but as the levels come up, Pippi should be having a pretty grand old time in this mid lane.
That he should. I mean, he's not as reliant on spell spam as Analog will be to kind of sustain this lane.
He's running, but the Treant is fast, John. The Treant's coming.
What?
You can't escape the Treant. And they've got him. First blood once again for Yodomi. That's 2 games in a row now. Yodomi does secure first blood on this Ringmaster.
And he does. Going to be feeling nice and happy. Faster boots if he so wants. More regen if he wants as well. Still taking a gander at that mid a moment ago. Taking a peek down bot. Actions frozen. This is what stoicism looks like. Just, everything's frozen. You know, nothing matters. Life is whatever it is. It's just like nihilism, but again, you just remove the context. Like, sure, it's older than nihilism, right? Fair enough. But nihilism is a matter of, you know, it's just, I don't know why I'm defending that position. It's not like you argued back.
Well, I will argue back, John. What is wrong with being a stoic? I don't see what the problem is. What's your problem, John? You can't hide your emotions, is that it? Are you bothered by it?
Not bothered, it's just for people to think of it as a virtue bothers me. You know, it's like, why is it so virtuous for you to have no emotions? How is that a virtue? You know, it's not virtuous. It doesn't make you a better person. It means you probably don't want to show anything. You want to look cool, or you just want to give off this appearance for what? What does that do for your inner self? Are you actually at peace? Do you actually accept everything as is? You know? It's kind of sad to think about. It's like living like a robot. Robots just accept things. You know, they just accept whatever comes to them. It's different. I know.
You know what would happen, John? If you want to stop having these thoughts, you should try studying Stoicism. I heard it's pretty good for not thinking too much about these things.
No, no, I'm not a poll viewer. Even then, poll I know is kind of split in that. So, no, not quite. I'm happy being a jolly old nihilist to an extent. I don't know what I am. I don't really care. I care about this match, I guess. You know, we're going in. Schofield again, tempting fate. What are you going to do as a clockwork in this lane? You get impaled. You get thrown a knife. You have tin armor, sure, but the knife goes through. You still bleed. You're still a man. You're not a robot. You're not stoic, Schofield. Could be stoic field if you wanted to be.
Whisper's running. He'll turn around now. You're dummy. It's only a level 1 iron shot, so the damage output. Oh, Whisper, no. Gets blocked there for a second. He'll be alright. He gets out, but it's a lot of damage. Oh, is he just dead? Whisper? Oh, he's dead.
What a dumb hero. Impalement arts.
This is a great hero.
It's so dumb. I hate this hero so much.
Vitali's gonna drop. They do at least find a pretty nice trade across the map here for Heroic, so not all is lost here for Heroic.
That it isn't. I think you are a little actually alright with top losing so hard. I think it's actually worse for the Bristleback to be off to this slower start, right? We talked about this with the Bristle. Every single time we see this hero, it has a ruinous lane. Right now, it's not too bad yet. You get a free reset. Metamorphosis is expiring, so you've got some play here for Vitali. So it does get manageable for the next 2 minutes, which is enough time to get into level 3s. Again, the Tin Man dies.
Yodomi, he's popping off here, John. All 3 kills so far for Edger and Yodomi. Now, this Ringmaster hero just continues to perform every game we see it. It's literally just impalement art. That's all he's doing. He's just throwing out these daggers.
Yeah. Wow, what a spell. 80 mana. Once you hit level 2 on that, 2 charges for no good reason. percent-based scaling damage early on. Why? Why? Why?
I think the question is why not?
Answer me, Mike. Why?
Why not?
Oh, you know why not? Because they wouldn't give it to Earthsphere. Imagine if he had scaling damage on Boulder Smash. He would actually be a hero.
Oh, imagine that. Can't have that, John. Maybe too much fun to, you know, get some farm as an Earth Spirit player. Anyway, doesn't matter. Side lane still going relatively well. Obviously, top lane has not gone too well for Heroic. What is it, John?
I was going to say, you know who's having fun? PP's starting to have a lot of fun on that mid. He's at level 4. You have level 4 in analog as well. At least the bottle's up, so the top up is there. But PP is starting to inch into that scary level 6 mark. Again, if you can get a reset, hit 6, with a potential rotation out from Pyke, the damage is there. He's already starting off with the early Orb of Blight as well. So you can just stack the minus armor, get an easy kill. Beastmaster's fairly tanky, but not the highest armor. So you will soften up by a huge amount. I do like the pressure coming out there from Analog. You're just slightly behind in CS, but he does go full max axis. So that's the way to go to kind of pressure out the melee matchup as we were talking about. The bot lane, still a rough go for Vitality, but again, every single window you have while Metamorphosis isn't popped, you do get a ton here for the Bristleback. Already has the Bracer Null build, allowing him some presence in the lane as well. And in comparison to what's happening for Whisper's lane, he's in a much better state. Whisper's already jungling early on. Again, just down to how little you can do with Clockwork. Normally, this lane combination's strong. You play with Surge, Battery Assault, Iron Shell. Just a little dagger, he ruins that all, and, well, you're just forced to jungle.
Sometimes it's all it takes, John. Just one dagger. Bottom lane, we're going to try and move on to Vitaly again. The Metamorphosis is up, so it's a lot of damage coming in from Yuma. They'll have to switch their attention perhaps to Michael instead, though, because Vitaly does get away. Michael, however, he does barely manage. Stick charges will keep him alive.
You're really happy about that on Edge, right? You somewhat waste Metamorphosis. It's going to be going off cooldown a bit. It's going to fade away in a short time. So that lane again becomes playable for Vitaly. You do get room out here though for KJ to rotate, and they are starting to fight over these runes.
They're trying. It's like the shield rune will be picked up by KJ anyway, so not really a big deal for either side. I mean, props to Analog. He's had a pretty good time in that mid lane, regardless of the matchup against his Slider. He's actually found more XP than the Slider has, and in terms of farm, he's basically on parity. He's just 1 CS behind. So the Analog really not struggling at all with the mid matchup here as the Beast. Because he has been spamming those wild axes over and over again to secure the CS, but nevertheless, Pippi has not had the big advantageous matchup he was hoping for. Meanwhile, that top lane, I mean, Pyke's looking to perhaps rotate on this Nature's Prophet now. He's just waiting in the fountain for a good TP point. He's top of the CS board right now on that MP, but decides better of it, ends up going back to the lane. Just wants to keep the farm going here on the Prophet. Of course, Yuma is not too far behind. In fact, he's actually on parity as well. So Yuma may get caught. They'll get a stun off onto KJ. TPs are incoming. Yuma's lost a lot of HP, though he might just need a TP out of here. But in fact, he's going to go for the fight. They'll roar up Yodomi. So they lose 1 for 1. Both supports end up dropping, but you do find a lot of gold on Yuma because he gets that dominating kill spree off of Yodomi.
Yeah, and all of those early kills for the Ringmaster kind of turning against him. And that's a pretty big freebie to take. And I do appreciate Edge playing this way, right? Like, we were talking about this being one big strong point, having that 6 on Slaughter, looking for the quick pickoffs with the rotations in. You're starting to see some of that start to connect. And they can keep doing that over and over. Not that long of a cooldown to wait for on the teleportation if you want to drag in your Nature's Prophet here. Pyke still looking for a little bit more, but it is a little bit tough to chase the Clockwork. They have protected their stacks pretty nicely as well on Heroic. Not being contested just yet.
Yodomi will be chased down. They want the Ringmaster first, and they're going to have no problem taking him after the escape deck is done, of course. Yodomi finally dropping. Not really much to come out of this. Seems like a bit of a freebie here. No kind of rotation to the mid-tier 1 tower or anything like that. Of course, there are plenty of heroes to defend here from Edge, but they're going to head up top instead. See if they can hunt down Pyke. They'll spawn him there for a second. Yuma immediately going to pop the reflection and the meta, but it's not going to matter. The quick TP away will pay dividends here for Pyke. But of course, it seems like they are leaving that top tier 1 tower to go down for free. Edge not quite in position to trade tier 1 towers either, sadly. So this will be a bit of a freebie here for Heroic.
No problems whatsoever. Bot being shoved in just a bit by Vitality. A slower process for the Bristleback on the push. In fact, the push overall from Edge. Not the quickest, not counting Pyke. Just not the quickest progress for objectives there. So a nice take to open up the top jungle. Would appreciate maybe forward wards here, as this tends to be, again, an area where the pause 1 sticks for the next almost 5-10 minutes in farming up.
Stuns out on Pippi. They found him as they went through the twin gate. Pippi dropping low already, trying to fight this one out, but he is going to die. They'll still bring Vitali and Yadomi into trade, and they do secure the Beastmaster kill. They have lost their Muerta in the process, though. Now it seems like the side of Heroic want to keep the fight going. They'll find Yadomi on his own. Yadomi will also drop, and Yuma does secure a nice double. The brighter side, I mean, Edge do find a tier 1, but that's literally all they get out of this. Not really a great fight for them at all.
No. Not quite respecting the output from Edge. That movement across the gate, not really covered by wards either from the side of Edge. Not one of the teams that has been keeping track of gate usage in comparison to some other teams we've seen. Maybe a little bit more important, let's say, into the 15-minute mark for the Tormentor. At that point, you'd expect a little bit more in terms of vision game. So far, it has been a little bit smoother from Heroic. I do appreciate their forward wards as well into the secret shop and into their triangle to protect. Speaking of that triangle, they still have massive stacks for Analog, who is rushing the Ags, and he's going to have no contest taking these stacks. That's concerning. There is a haste rune on PP as they're going for the smoke. Could catch out Whisper top here if he's not too careful, but
they're chasing.
Let's see.
You got a haste rune on Pippi. You don't have a blink or anything like that, but the haste might just be enough. Surge is committed. He'll try to go for a run, but the Sprout's going to lock him in, and that'll be about it. Pyke will find a nice freebie here on the Prophet. That'll be a Darkseer dropping once again. Find another Analog. He'd be a great target, but they don't have the numbers for him. They'll just drop a Corrosive Haze and leave him alone. All things being said and done, like, this isn't going to be the quickest Beastmaster Ags timing we've ever seen either from Analog. It's going to be, you know, it's still going to be decently timed, but not as fast as maybe you would like. As Schofield now looking to maybe move in with this hook shot. Pippi going to have the wall drop. They'll move in with Aurora as well. And Pippi will be saved by the escape back for now from Yadomi. Hook shot in though, just going to lock him down. He'll try to stun through it, but Pippi is gone. It does take a fair bit of commitment, but it's very well worth it. And Heroic now, they can slowly chip away at this mid-tier 1 to boot.
Yeah, they're getting some good activity out as a team on the side of Heroic. It's Edge that's sitting back and farming, and Pyke is just working into that full Mjolnir, which is fair, but I was expecting them to be the ones clumping up like this. It feels like Heroic is doing what I'd expect Edge to do. Group around your Slardar, maybe look for Corrosive Haze, just teleportation in, find one kill, back off, go back to farm, maybe shove in here and there. Heroic are playing around tempo much better in this game. 7-6, relatively even on the kill board, but all the early aggression now starting to line up for Heroic. The stacks being taken away, only 2 parts off for Analog now for the full Ags. Still a slow process, but eventually will come online. And you've gotten free room out for Whisper Farm. He's had a couple of deaths, but he does have the Vanguard up. The full Aura game is going to be coming online. Crimson Guard for him first. In comparison for Edge, you still are in a decent spot for Vitality, rushing the Blade Mail on the Bristleback. So more presence for him up front once that's up and running. And again, the Mjolnir being farmed up by Pyke, only about 400 gold away. And the Hyperstone is set to get going. This big one is PP's Blink. Once you can get that Blink initiation going, it should be easier for Edge to, again, try to play around this very quick gank style they have. Until that point, Heroic is pretty comfy playing the farm game. And they have confidence in their scaling with the Terrorblade. Like, Terrorblade and NP are both somewhat tempo heroes. In the end, Terrorblade does scale just a little bit better in comparison to the Nature's Prophet overall. So I wouldn't be surprised if Heroic were just yelling at humans like, it's alright, just go back for him. You know, it's alright for our entire team. We can just scale into the late game. Edge has to do something. Blink's done on PP. Again, they don't have the forward vision to try to hunt. Look at these wards. This nice line formed by Heroic all across the middle of the map. They've got the vision for the defense. Edge doesn't have anything for the offense.
Very, very tough indeed. Looking at Schofield in the mid lane. Schofield pretty far forward. He's going to get blinked on. He's going to quick cogs off, but probably is still set to fall here, Schofield. Never really gets quite the opportunity to go for a quick hook shot out. So I guess you get a freebie on the clockwork. Not really the biggest deal. Schofield just going to hit those creeps in the mid lane, deal with their creep waves. Rest of his team's just free farming as well in the meantime. Now I realize you do have Pyke at the top of the net worth board here on the Prophet, but like, it's not a sniper, right? Like, it's not like last game where he's going to be allowed to just stand there and hit people the whole time. You know, he's going to have to get up close and personal on this Prophet, and against the heroes of Heroic, like, it's going to be maybe troublesome. You know, you get roared once by Analog, you're probably just dead.
You will be. Again, I appreciate that he wants his big items first to keep shoving out the waves, like the full Mjolnir is done. He's going for a Force Staff just to have some security, especially up against a Clockwork. Smoke plays coming out now as the Tormentor is up. They've got vision here from Edge, so they would have the advantage if the smoke broke around the Tormentor area.
Smoke on smoke scenario. Edge looking for the fight before the Tormentor starts. Heroic wrapping around. They'll go through the bottom lane towards the Lotus Pool. They're coming from the north. Smoke could be broken soon, and it will be. Schofield, he's going to see the Ringmaster. It's a great target to aim down first. Get rid of Yadomi. Yadomi is dead. It's a good start. Will of Wonder did drop before he did go down. Yuma actually already dropping quite low on the TB, but he does have a Sunder to play with. We'll use it on this Bristleback, and Vitali will just melt. But here comes Pyke, and everyone's quite low here on the side of Heroics. They just need to get the hell out of there. They'll get at least the TB out. Whisper is running the old-fashioned way, and it seems like KJ will probably just get left behind. It's not really the worst fight in the world.
Whisper.
Oh, it could get worse, Whisper. Yeah, he's got no way out. He's dead to boot. It's a great fight now for Edge. And with that, I believe they will be able to head back and go straight for the Tormentor if they so wish. But it seems like they'll leave it be for now.
Just unfortunate for Heroic. Like, they find the right target, but the fact the Wheel of Wonder still flew open, just so much damage coming in. A good gold swing coming out there for Edge. And really, you have to watch yourself, especially in the Terrorblade. You rushed Crimson Guard first. You don't have something like the pipe, no magic barrier to prevent that slow, steady poke on Yuma. He sunders, and then he caught like a dead shot and a few quills, and that was enough to also just continuously melt him down with how long that took to even just kill off Yadomi. So you really do have to take caution when you do commit. And you need that pipe up and running. You need full complements of Horus. Speaking of Yadomi, he does get his free shard from the Tormentor, so the spotlight is up now as well, which is devastating for the Darkseer. That is one really good counter action here from the side of Edge. You can just slowly delete these illusions quite nicely with a spotlight. So how effective the Vac Wall will be, maybe not as effective as you'd want it to be if Yadomi again survives, and seeing how he's been positioning and how he's been able to get off the escape axe every single time, it takes a lot of effort to kill this off. Like, that's going to impact these team fights in a big way for Whisper.
It's pretty tough. And those illusions, they will not last long. It's 50% damage per 50% max HP damage per second on those illusions. They will not be lasting. Meanwhile, Schofield keeping tabs on Vitali. Doesn't really have any help around him though, so just keeping a close watch. Not gonna try and jump. Power runes are gonna spawn up, and it seems like there will be an arcane rune here denied by KJ. So BKB is being worked on here by Pippi now as well. and he'll practically feel like invincible, apart from maybe the TB once he does have that BKB up. So there is still a group up here from Edge. They're looking to run their way down towards the bottom side of the map and maybe find Schofield. You'd much rather Analog though, but it seems like Analog's trying to get through the twin gate before they do get to him. Changes his mind. Gonna run the other way. That might have been the right choice, but they're coming. Hippie gets hit by Cogs. Here comes Pyke. He's already TP'd in. Analog, they're just going to commit the roar and try and go for the kill instead of running, but the escape back is going to save the day. Schofield's still alive, and so is Analog. They've got help incoming. Analog is down. That's one good kill. Here comes Whisper, though, with a big vacuum. Out onto 3 targets. Pippi is down. They've even found Pyke here, but the Cogs, it pushes him out. Pyke, he's going to be all right to TP away, but the rest cannot. They've got to deal with Yuma somehow. Here comes Pyke again, back onto Yuma, and Yuma this time is dead. Oh, how unfortunate. The Cogs pushback. You would have thought he was trapped in there, John. But he got pushed back. And with that, it just a full team wipe.
They're finding the angles on Edge. Like, there's some big damage issues right now on the side of Heroic. The output on Yuma is just not high enough and terribly. That goes back to what you were saying in draft. No Scotty yet, no free stats. The output, when he does engage, it's not even enough to kill off the Muerta. Like, he had to Sunder, drop her low, and still isn't enough to kill off Michael. Heroic need to find some way to rectify. It was pretty awkward to start. That teleportation in from Pyke should have been punished harder, but the response was not quick enough from the side of Heroic to really maximize on that roar. And they miss out on an opportunity. 11-16, Edge getting the lead at 6k, 7k, as the investment on Pyke is starting to pan out. And the damage issue is really shining. The magic damage is overwhelming. And again, you don't have something like a pipe. It is a pretty dead item, to be fair. But without that magic damage mitigation, if Yuma gets hit, even the Chain Lightning is just killing him off now. It's just way too much poke. The Chain Lightning's killing him, the calling when it bumps him, the dead shot. Like, there's a lot to actually be worried about in terms of area control here.
Jump in, they found themselves a Whisper Darkseid. Whisper going to try and surge away. It's good for now, big back wall out as well to 3. They're still chasing though, there's no helping coming for Whisper. With that wall, might have been a very nice setup, but as you're seeing, Whisper tipping your dummy, because he knows his illusions just cannot last in this stupid spotlight. As if this hero wasn't good enough as it was. It turns out Darkseid just gets completely countered by it. And now Roshan is going to be freely given the way of Edge. They've really got no choice on the side of Heroic.
Lots of minus arms to play with. You do maxed out. Curse of Haze. Rush doesn't take too long. And funny enough, it's not just the Darkseid illusions, right? Even Terrorblade in his illusion play, it's just ruined. You don't have that backup, that safety net for you on Yumi. You can't rely on that DPS coming in there to help you out with your innate. So it just completely ruins everything. Here's Schofield.
Well, Schofield will be another victim here for Pyke. See, this is a game where the Prophet's starting to feel really uncontestable now. Sure, if you can surround him, oh, maybe they can surround him. Look at this, John. Very sneaky. Pyke, he doesn't see it coming. Roar is out. They've got the Prophet this time, but the escape act. Yotomi buying the time again for Pyke to try and force stuff away, but it's not enough. He is down, and now maybe Heroic can finally punish this side of Edge. Hippie's still actually outrunning them. Analog will find him and get the Aegis off him. Michael is down. And Pippi, he's going to try and escape out of here, but it looks like he's finally going to drop. That was a very cheeky play here from Heroic, really sneaking through the twin gates with the smoke, and boy oh boy does it pay off.
And it does. They managed to get a really good, almost encirclement, right? Like, you had Whisper coming in from the left side, right by the tower, running right into them, making them think, all right, they're going to be coming in from tier 2. They smoke that route. They don't check the back line. They're split apart on the side of Edge. And this time, this kind of boils down to just an awkward Hurricane Pyke angle coming in there from Pyke. Like, he couldn't get into the high ground. If he managed to get into the high ground, he might have been able to juke a little bit more. And not bleed all of this gold out. They lose that 6k lead down to a 4k lead. Heroic not out of the woods yet, but this is allowing that build-up we were talking about. One full ultimate orb up here now for Yuma, going into the Scotty. And once the Scotty's up, with all of the slows on hand, with all of the stats and damage, things do start to take a turn for Heroic. That's when that scaling starts to come in. Yes, you still have to deal with Spotlight. You still have to deal with all the saves coming out from Yadomi. There's still this massive synergy of minus armor with the Bristleback and the Slardar. But your damage issues start to get fixed. I love this from Analog as well, Mike. He's going straight for the Nullifier. I mean, if you can't catch out Yadomi, just nullify off the escape tag. That's one way to go about it. That is going to make it so much easier for them to look for these kills on Heroic.
Now, looking to go through that top lane, it seems. Heroic. They did just buy the Ags out on Schofield, so he's got those rockets to really give plenty of vision now. Against Edge. Edge still hanging around that top lane, not dissuaded by that last fight. It's like the side of Heroic are the ones looking to sit back for a little bit. Vitali, though, is in a pretty peculiar situation. I suppose he's still very confident that they won't make the jump. Maybe just assuming his whole team is behind him. Pike's going to come in top as well. It seems like they want to try and pressure this tier 2 top tower. Vitali will get started. The rockets will begin as well here from Schofield. So you know the whole team is waiting to push this tier 2 in. Heroic, they're not reacting too much though. It's basically just the Clockwork that's defending. Everybody else just across the map farming it while they can. Yuma's just... In fact, he has now picked up the Skadi recipe, so I have Skadi available for Yuma. This is when the Terrorblade starts to feel quite strong. And this could be a bit of a turning point here for Yuma in terms of just the amount of damage and control he can dish out in the middle of a fight. Edge still hanging around their own jungle. Yes, John?
It's going to be down to how well Pike can position himself. Like, if he's not caught out first, if he plays like he's normally been playing, teleporting into the fights, they could still manage it. This output from the NP is still insane. They would want the full Revenant's Breach first to really get through that armor. But we'll see if the smoke pans out. Again, they just need to initiate first. Edge, that's where they shine the best. Counter initiation starting to become a bit of an issue, but jumping in first, looking for a pickoff, that's where this lineup shines. Unfortunately, again, they don't have forward vision here. They just don't have the wards. Look at all the sentries committed from Heroic to ensure there's no reach into that bot jungle. And just protecting themselves from the aggression that Edge needs to get out here.
Scan out. I mean, they know that Edge are down somewhere south of the map. Rocket players again coming in from Schofield, going to get plenty of info here for his side. Yuma's actually surprisingly nearby as well on the TB, but it looks like he's slowly inching back towards his team. They'll ping out Yuma in that mid lane, but they're nowhere nearby him. So it's like Edge maybe thinking about just sticking around for a Tormentor, and they will. There's no Roshan to swap this Tormentor for if you are Heroic. So Michael's going to pick up his shards now on the Muerta. But I think Heroic, like, playing this avoid game is going to really work in their favor as time goes on. T2 top tower going to be the target. Seems like they are interested in trying to force a fight now against Edge. Edge still around the mid lane. They're not really nearby yet. The only one coming close is Yadomi, who's currently been spotted. They'd love this kill, and they do jump in with a quick roar. You feel so much better knowing the Ringmaster's dead. Every single time.
Yeah. And you do, and it's so much faster. Again, Nullifier fully done on Analog. It's even a self-save not there to stall out. The damage is starting to ramp up now on the side of Heroic. They find the tier 2 as well for free. Roche still a ways off until we see that respawn. So you have a big window still that you have to stall out for on the side of Heroic. For Edge, they're doing a great job of just controlling creep waves, right? Like bot is shoved in, mid shoved in, top again did just fall, but they can course correct soon. And for Edge's own scaling, they've got the Revenant's Brooch up on Pyke. He's going to be hitting like a truck. I'm a little bit surprised that he's still going all in on magic, but again, no one has anything to stall out magic damage here. There's no pipe. There's not even a Glimmer Cape on hand. So you will just eat right through if you do get to duel down Yuma. Has to be pretty aware of that. Has to be a bit cautious of the NP. Again, if Pyke can find a good angle with teleportation, it feels like how the game kind of breaks open for Edge once more. They've lost the lead down to a 1k standing, relatively even on the board. Win probability is very even as well at 51 to 49 here, Mike, for Heroic and Edge. But Heroic slightly favored. And it comes back to that discussion about scaling. Like, as we approach 30 minutes, 40 minutes into the game, it does become easier and easier for Heroic to play. Even if your illusions are dying to Spotlight, sure, that's taken away. But just the core-to-core, the head-to-head of this Terrorblade versus NP, the Slaughter starts to taper off as armor starts to get higher and higher as well. We'll see if this smoke starts to pan out. Through the gate they go. They are stuck in the top jungle on Edge.
Ah, they're there. Narrowly miss out on seeing Vitali. Analog's trying to bait them in, and they are taking that bait. They're on the way here, Edge. They want to go. Hippie, it's a two-man stun to start, but he's been roared up rather. He got the BKB off in time, but it doesn't matter. The escape back, it's going to give him a chance to just retreat and come back later on. Vitali, in the meantime, looking to go forward. Looks like Heroic want to reset. Reset their position at least. There's the Rocket players to come out, giving all the info. Heroic looking to continue. A nice hook shot. Schofield. He's under the bristle, but the escape back again from Yodomi going to save just a little bit. They'll turn their attention to Michael instead. Vacuum wall is out. It's a perfect setup here from Whisper. Can they take down the Prophet? They can. Pyke is gone. He was so patient with that back wall too, Whisper. He didn't want to use it before the spotlight came out. Even Pippi's still being chased down, but he's well and truly gone. But it seems like Heroic now, knowing the Prophet is down, they will try for something. No Roshan available though, sadly.
And I was very patient from both sides. Like getting that jump out from PP, he got a pretty big crush to start things off. And they had that setup with the Wheel of Wonder just not quite connecting to stun him up. Good call from Heroic to retreat. A bit surprised Edge was patient enough to not even drag in Pyke until the later part still.
Jump in, Vitali. Trying to force them back. Aurora, though, in the backside has caught the Ringmaster. And they will take down Yodomi another time. It's now the Vac back on a Michael and Vitali. They want to keep going. Buyback is there from Yodomi. He needs to help his teammates out a little bit here. Pippi's been left behind. He'll try to BKB and run. They'll drop the spotlight on top. Pippi's going to make it out. But Heroic certainly looking like the stronger team all of a sudden. They have taken the net worth advantage. And now they know Roshan is available. But so is the whole squad of Edge. So it's all about Roshan now.
They've got Metamorphosis off cooldown again on Yuma as well. This is prime time to retake that fight. Cooldown on Roar, only about 15 seconds to go. You even managed to get yourself an Arcane Rune bottled up here for Analog. So the next Roar is actually going to be even lower of cooldown. Just more uptime, more aggression that can come out here from the side of Heroic. For Edge, Pyke is just a little bit too squishy. Right? Like he teleports in late to that last fight, gets stuck, and he just gets melted by the output from Yuma and the entire team just surrounding him. He is going for the Nullifier next to try to remove some Hurricane Pyke plays that are trying to stall out and save, and the Ghost Scepters that are up as well. It does feel like he needs something defensive now on this Nature's Prophet. Roshan being taken by the side of Heroic. Edge on the wrong side of the map so far. They do get the scan off, but this goes way too quick for them to contest.
Yeah, now they're not going to want to fight. I mean, all the spells are up and ready to go here for Heroic. Edge, they may stick around to defend this tier 2 tower. Oh, do they really? Vitali! Vitali, I guess, just trying to clear the creep wave before he leaves, but Unfortunate, he's gone. At least he does have buyback gold.
And he does. It's just a consequence again of the bristleback and how slow of a start he had, and the fact that he's not able to gap close in terms of net worth to kind of at least try to match Analog and Yuma. He's not that durable on that bristle. The moment the roar comes in, easy target to melt down for Yuma. And that's Yuma without the full Daedalus. He's got the gold for it now, flying out the recipe with a buyout. It's going to be able to start to really dish the hurt out onto the side of Edge. 19 to 18, 8k advantage now for Heroic, as they've turned the tide fight after fight after fight now. Edge, again, they've got some damage here. They've got the scaling on Pyke, even though it's not as straightforward as, say, the Terrorblade. He does have some output. The issue is now how you take these fights. Because the ideal now for Edge is that both Vitality and PP make a good connection together, going into the front, buying that space for Pyke to find an angle in, and running from there. They've not been able to do that consistently, and now smoke off the scan. They saw Pyke farming the top jungle with the scan. They are set to run back, so they're not finding the angle they'd want, but if someone does overstay their welcome, could be a nice fast pickoff, but nah. Again, they hold high ground. What you need now on Edge is just more durability. On Vitality. Like, PP is durable enough, you need the Bristle to actually survive to apply the Snot Rocket, to allow Pyke just more damage coming in. The mixed physical magic damage output he has with the Brooch is going to do a lot of work. But you need to live true for that as the Bristle, if you want to apply all of that Snot Rocket goo.
Like you do. Hasn't been a very easy time for Vitali. Group up again from Edge. They're going to show up mid lane. Heroic are nearby. They might force this fight. Oh, Vitali is going to move into that triangle very confidently here. Let's move into Whisper. Yuma's immediately just popped the Metamorphosis Stone. Just moves onto the Bristleback. They'll drop the Spotlight. That does mean the Vac Wall is now good to be used. Hippie's still trying to run. There's your Vac Wall. Whisper. He lands on 3 targets. Hippie's still running, but the Roar is up. Manalok cutting him off. They'll try to force some of him away, but Hippie is down. So is Yadomi. No buybacks on either. In fact, 3 of them down without buyback.
It's a big opening. That's the full Daedalus reveal coming out from Yuma in massive form. That's so much damage. Rips right through him. And again, the patience coming out from Whisper, like you called out earlier. He waits for the Spotlight. He tries to look for the re-engage angle, finds it, and you get max usage out of the illusions. Vitality can't do anything for this defense. Oh, Whisper messes that one up.
He does, but Schofield's still got him with the Ul Scepter into the Cogs pushback. Vitali trying to farm, but his base is being taken, and now his life is being taken. Yuma's just taking the mid-racks in the meantime with the illusions. He'll move down bottom as well while he's at it. And as we've talked about many times, John, with the Demon Zeal, it doesn't take you too long to get through these damn towers. Doesn't even have it right now, but he did have it earlier. Into that tier 3 in the mid lane. So 2 lanes of barracks. Do you want to stick for a third? You still have a minute on the Aegis and meta's up in 35.
Yeah, I don't see why not. Whisper's already coming in. Wall is coming back in 20 seconds. Roar is back up. Metamorphosis is a little bit longer, half a minute. That could cause them to just play it safe. Satanic's almost fully farmed up now as well here for Yuma. Might want to wait for the 300 gold necessary to just have that safety net now for the TB. But they have time. Now they'll decide to go in, and you have to get this good team fight going on Edge. It's all down to that initiation and follow through. And that blink crush has to be on point with the damage coming in from Pyke.
I'm still going to pay respect to Edge here. Metamorphosis up, Aegis expiring in 20 seconds, so they are looking to retreat. Edge looking to actually try and make a jump. Pippi and Michael smoked up, looking for an angle into somebody. They are lacking a lot of vision here, though. They don't really see anyone on Heroic. And it seems like they've kind of just missed their opportunity. A scan catches them out mid-smoke anyway. There goes your Aegis now on Yuma. But I mean, he's got a Satanic up. He's so farmed in this TB now. Like, so is Pyke, but you go back to that same issue of can you stand there and just hit people? And the answer so far has been no. Like, Pyke has to be very cautious to how he decides to teleport in. And he's been very patient throughout these fights and just waiting for the right opportunity. The issue is, once one of his teammates is dead, it's usually just too late.
It is. I think it's also down to this difference in itemization, right? Like they're roughly equal at net worth, in fact slightly ahead here for Pyke. But he doesn't have that much defensive items. You have the Manta, you have the Satanic up for the TB. You're trying to go into the Lincolns for Pyke. He does have at least the Manta and, you know, the same Hurricane Pyke as well. But it almost feels as if Pyke needs like a BKB. Like blocking Roar or Sunder is big. Blocking off, but they have a lot of Lincoln pops here. Ignite's gonna be one thing that's gonna be annoying. Fire Blast as well. Like it's not just Roar and Sunder that the Lincolns will have to kind of handle. And once you dig through the Lincolns, again, you're not gonna be in a good spot for just holding your ground here on Pyke. So I'm not sure. He's running out of slots too. Like he's gonna have to sell the power treads for that Lincolns, which means that even if he wanted a BKB, I don't know what you start swapping in and out for it. Becomes really awkward. Instead, what Pyke will do now, just TP away, farm elsewhere, maybe cut some creep waves if he can. Just kind of try to stall the game out as best as possible. But Heroic are in a commanding lead, 17k. Win probability now for them, a while ago it was 49-51 in favor of Heroic, now it's 94-6%. Like they have managed to get themselves an overwhelming lead now. I do like this shift out from Analog as well in his build-up. You saw it a while ago, just the Dagon coming in, more spell lifesteal. Now with the drums to Slam ringing, they spot out Pyke actually.
Oh, the hook shot! It doesn't matter, Analog's there. They got the roar off, and Pyke is down. He at least has buyback ready. And in fairness, it does ensure that they don't push in that top lane. But if you're Heroic, you might just want to rush to the Dire base and just force this buyback immediately. That might just be the play here for the boys, and I think that's exactly what they're trying to do.
They are. Just dragging everything out. Force the buyback, try to see that if you can find the opening. If you force the buyback, you can just take your time to the next rush as well if you don't find that kill opportunity. But they're going all in. They're going to go for that sneaky smoke flank again.
There we go.
Oh,
and
no.
they find Yadomi first. That's the one they really want. They're going to jump in. Yadomi just burst it down. Vitali also in trouble. Will try to run, but the back wall from Whisper to drag him right back. And Vitali, he's been stunned up. Schofield caught him. He can't get out of the cogs. Vitali's down. Pippi's going to try to fight. They'll buy back on Pyke as well. He'll hide in the tree line. But Yuma, he's man-fighting against him. He'll eventually leave. He still has Sunder up on this TB if they do look for a turn. But for now, they just want to try and retreat. Stun is out onto Whisper. Here comes the turn. Analog right onto the slider, and that's Pippi down a second time. Pippi's down without buyback. Vitali will be able to get away, but Yuma's not done. He still has Sunder. Michael now being jumped as well, in danger, trying to run. This could be a dieback, but he gets the 4-staff out of there. They're out of Metamorphosis though, Heroic. They might need to leave the area now. It is getting scary. Sunder out from Yuma. It is going to be on Vitali. That'll give him another chance at life. They're still trying to get towards that top racks and get rid of the racks and have the megas up. Edge is doing a good job of making this very challenging though. There goes the range racks. 1 milli barracks standing between them and Mega Creeps. Glyph will be forced out. Yuma's still trying. Has the Sunder ready again. We'll commit it straight onto Vitali. I mean, it's a 10-second cooldown, John. It's not like he has to hold.
Nah. You can just keep spamming it out if he so wishes. We're gonna have enough of the shenanigans there, as they did manage to force the buybacks. They'd want to. And at least get one additional rack. Still have the melee racks up that they have to contend with. Roshan is up. So they can go for that safe objective play. Yuma's kind of isolated, but they don't really want to jump him. And unfortunate not knowing the rest of the team's actually way into Roche. This Roche is big. Has everything on the board. Refresh shard, cheese with a Roche banner and Aegis. This is the end game. Edge They need to find a way to play into these 2 lives. They only have the 1 buyback on Michael left. And you need some gold for PP, only 400 gold, but whether or not you have time to farm 400 gold remains to be seen either. This has to be it.
They're going in. They are going in. Heroic looking to put the nail in the coffin. Edge still holding on to their hopes here at Wallachia Season 4. These TB illusions, though, real menaces for this poor melee barracks. The spotlight will deal with them. But now you've got the real hero to deal with. And he's got a secondary life on that TB. There goes the Megas. Do they stick around in the base? It seems like Yuma says yes. T4 tower now under siege. It's extremely hard to get close to Yuma at the moment. You don't have the initiation apart from Pippi. But even Pippi, like if he jumps in, you can't really survive the onslaught. They'll get rid of the illusions again. There's still a Roshan banner just sitting there, so it seems like they want to commit more. Ancient completely exposed now for Heroic. Yuma will move back onto the Ancient. Still got a bit of time on the meta, but no, it does wear off now. And they go. Still looking for the fight here is Heroic. Yuma slowly chipping away with the Demon's Ill illusions. Jump is there from Pippi, but it's just onto a creep wave. Yuma moving back in again. Really wants this Ancient down. Pyke's now going to TP back into the Prophet. Yuma's still chipping away. Pippi, he'll miss the stun. Such a hard fight. Schofield's been jumped. He'll try to hook shot, but he's down. In they go, though. Back wall is out. Whisper on a 4, and they just melt. Pyke will at least TP out of there. But Whisper setting up the deletion of Edge, and that'll be it. Heroic, they will proceed. Edge will sadly have to go home today, Jonathan.